And good evening. Welcome to Saturday Night Baseball between the Seattle Mariners and the Milwaukee Brewers. The Mariners were close last night, but unfortunately, huge amount of walks by Andres Munoz just will not get it done. But despite that, there was an offensive effort, actually, more than what we have seen than what we're used to. But here we are for Saturday Night Baseball, hoping that they can just get this thing turned around. And Steve, how's it been? It's only been 24 hours.
Oh man, everything is fantastic, man. You shake off the loss and you move on. But I'll tell you what, man, a nice little Saturday evening for for Mariners Brewers here in the beautiful fighting town of Flint, Michigan. Little say hello to all my peeps back in the state of Washington. You know I love you guys. But last night all you can do is shake that off. There's nothing else you can do but shake that off. I mean, it's one of those losses where yes, you hate to lose it, but you hate to lose those type of games. But in that you can take away a lot of good things of what the Mariners were able to accomplish. They basically erased a 5-run deficit and were able to get there right at the end. Had not obviously Andres Munoz walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches. So
yeah, I know, and that was the conversation of throughout Twitter last night, where there was a debate on whether you got one person like me going, well, we should have put in Gabe Spire. The other person goes, nah, Munoz was just being Munoz. It was a huge mess, and just want to let you guys know that on my Twitter/X and my YouTube, all comments are welcome. You can say whatever you want, and there will be no blocking. But
no blocking. Oh my god!
But if you're a spammer that has nothing to do with baseball, and if you're trying to solicit me on something, oh yeah, of course you're going to get blocked. But if there's an opinion I don't agree with you, please bring it to the board. We would love to talk about it, because what is collaboration without differences? You can't have that. I mean, I don't do. I mean, even if I'm agreeing with everyone, it kind of gets boring once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, everybody's got an opinion, and I that's the beauty about this sport, is because I like talking baseball regardless. And even if if you ask a question and it's obvious to me that maybe you don't know much about baseball, the last thing I'm going to do is make you feel bad for it. You know what I mean? We're all here. That's the beautiful thing about the Mariners community, is the fact that I like talking with everybody. Everybody's got a pretty solid opinion. And I don't know how you feel about it, but that's what I like about Mariners Twitter.
Yeah. Mariners Twitter, everyone has an opinion for a reason. And, and everyone got into the Mariners in many different ways. Like, for example, I got into it just conveniently right after Griffey left. And that's when I guess my brain started to finally develop to have my baseball brain. But because before that I was like, yeah, I'm going to the Kingdom. But then it was like, I'm going to the games and following. So it was a pretty interesting timing. And I think your timing was like 1986 or 7.
Yeah. And I remember it was Mariners Angels in the late portion of the 86 season. And Alvin Davis actually went deep. And the first game I remember watching, Alvin Davis went deep, and I was mesmerized by Alvin Davis. I thought Alvin Davis was Babe Ruth when I was a kid. And then, of course, Mark Langston, the Randy Johnson trade. And that's, the late 80s is where I basically came on board with this team. So, right as Griffey was getting drafted is when I came in.
You came in pretty much just in time, I must say. And I do look at it from time to time that at least in the early 80s, there was some kind of sparked by Mark Langston, Harold Reynolds, and Alvin Davis, but unfortunately it just didn't work out. But it did eventually lead to the Griffey.
This team really turned a corner like in 1990, 1991 under former Mariner manager Jim Lefevre. That was really when you started seeing this team finish with a 500 record, which was something up until that point that this team never did, didn't even sniff. And of course, all that coincides with Woody Woodward and the job that he did drafting, and of course, Nintendo buying it and then making the decision to bring in Lou Piniella, and that really got the ball rolling.
That really turned it around. And got some comments. Let's address them. We got Yuki Matsui. Well, he's naming himself after that baseball player from the Padres. Who is going to watch a watered down product with all those injuries? And unfortunate with Shane Bieber, because he was on fire in the first 2 games, including the Mariners. And next thing you know, he's gone. And then sour vanilla. Yep, we just literally talked about it, but it was yesterday, but now that's what they say. Yesterday is yesterday. Let's hope that the Mariners, they still have the opportunity to take a 2 out of 3 from the series, and hopefully we can
absolutely
better performance out of Bryce Miller. And well, before I even talk about Emerson Hancock, we got to talk about this game. So
absolutely.
And now let's go over the starting lineup, which I saw it and I had some questions with it, but we got JP Crawford leading off, then Julio Rodriguez and Jorge Polanco. Some say that they should trade with each other, have Julio
100%.
at the 3, Polanco at the 2.
100%.
Mitch Haniger cleanup, Mitch Garver as the 5, got Cal Raleigh 6th, Dylan Moore first base. Interesting decision because I thought it would be Luke Raley, as he did play okay last night. Luis Urias and Samad Taylor, actually the best player on the Mariners by batting average of 500. Granted, two at bats, but hey, it says 500 on it, and he was part of the rally in the 9th inning.
Yeah, well, you have the lefty on the hill today for the Brewers and DL Hall, so it's not surprising to see Dylan Moore somewhere in the lineup today. Now, I don't know how you feel about him, being that high up in the lineup. Maybe to me that might be just a little too high. But that being said, Scott Servais likes to overload his lineup with righties when there's a lefty on the hill. So
he does. Yeah, and there are times where I feel that sometimes he just overthinks it. It's really interesting how he does it. Like sometimes he does approach the analytics, and then sometimes he goes away from it. So sometimes it just confuses me. And I'm looking up the splits for Luke Raley to see if it was actually a good case for him to do it for, well, at least look at his career. Thank God for Baseball Reference. They got everything.
Yeah, they sure do, don't they?
Against lefties in his career, they're saying he mostly does against righties. He's a .214 hitter with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs.
Solid.
Very solid.
Solid.
Scott definitely read that.
Just a quick reminder for everybody out there. DL Hall, he's 25 years old, the lefty, 6'2", 203. He throws his four-seam fastball, which averages about 54% of the time, and then his slider, which is about 26% of the time. Much like we saw last night with Freddie Peralta. You're going to see a lot of fastballs. You're going to see a lot of sliders, which actually I actually think, just like I said last night, I actually think this is beneficial for the Mariners because you're not going to see a lot of changeups today. You're going to see a lot of fastballs, sliders moving in and out of the zone. I think this is going to set up perfectly for the Mariners, especially in the top of the first inning.
Let's hope so. And let's speak of for the pitching. We've got Bryce Miller on the mound, who did unfortunately struggle last week against Boston, which was I believe it was that extra innings game. He struck out 6, gave up 6 hits and 2 home runs, and that was Bryce Miller's performance, and it ended in a loss. So wait, it was not the Boston game. Now I'm trying to remember what it had to be. Oh yeah, it was Sunday. It was the day after the extra innings game where it was like 5-1, and that game was also just off.
Right. What was it? He went 5 innings. 5 innings in that affair. Didn't really have command of his secondary pitches. Left his fastball a little bit up. And speaking of which, Bryce Miller is really heavily on his four-seam fastball. Throws it 58% of the time. His slider 19% of the time. And I know that he's been working on a cut fastball and a sink a little bit. So I would like to think that you're going to see a little bit more incorporation with the secondary pitches. But again, as we saw last night with the Brewers, they're not afraid to attack early in the counts, especially with fastballs that are up. As we saw yesterday against Logan Gilbert, Willie Adams was able to take it the other way. So, yeah.
And he does have a lot of stuff, but the numbers even back it up that he's a very fastball dependent. 19% on the slider, 8% on sweepers, 7% on sinkers, 5% changeup. Would really love to see a mix up after knowing what happened yesterday, where a lot of home runs were given up by those fastballs. So hopefully Bryce Miller does work on that.
And it can be a problem considering that, when Miller takes them down, you probably just assume that, the Milwaukee Brewers are pretty much going to be sitting fastball all night long.
Hopefully, at least worst case scenario, let's hope it's at least an offensive shootout. One can only hope. and we're getting close to the start of the game. JP Crawford is waiting for his at-bat. Julio right next to him. Mariners are donning in those teal jerseys. I remember I was a huge fan of those when the Mariners wore those in the 90s. Those were gorgeous.
Those are ugly.
I'm so glad they brought those back in 2011 was when they did.
Blasphemy. Those are so ugly.
Oh, it all started in 94. That's when the teals happened. My most favorite was the 99 to 2000 black Seattle ones. Those were my most favorite.
There you go.
The most underrated jersey in Mariners history, and everyone forgot about him so quickly.
You didn't like the 97 sleeveless?
I did actually like those. I thought it was like a unique taste to it. That was also like a 97 to 99. And here's JP Crawford. He takes it for a strike. And now here's the pitch. And swing and a miss. Strike 2. And don't forget, Mariners are facing up against a lefty, against the DL Hall.
And now with the count, now Hall ahead in the count, I'm pretty sure you're going to start seeing slider away. Makes the most sense, unless he comes back and busts him inside on the hands with a fastball.
And now we're looking at a 1-2, which JP Crawford just took. And now here's the 1-2. And that is strike 3 call. Just barely hit the strike zone. Some would say it was just barely outside the strike zone. JP Crawford didn't agree with it, but now we've got one down, and now here comes Julio.
Yep, fastball in on the hands.
It was literally right in the cusp. The umpire, he did not hesitate. And now here's Julio Rodriguez up to bat. And that is up high for a ball. Catcher was kind of trying to frame it, but didn't sell it. And now here's the 1-0 pitch. And now here's a ground ball, and that could be a tough play in the throw to first, and it's not in time. And Julio Rodriguez gets to first base on an infield single.
So a little Mickey Mouse fastball that he puts on the ground and legs went out for a single, but infield single. This is actually opportune with speed on first base. I would actually like to see Service send Julio.
Yeah, get this game in motion. Base, make him run.
Get this game in motion early.
Got to at least make some kind of movements to give confidence for the next players. Now here is Polanco. This time he is right-handed for today. And in hindsight, looks like that Julio could have just swept that one.
Correct.
And East Valley guy, who I just met on Twitter and X this morning, brought up the black jerseys. Those were bangers. Yeah, we are. That makes 3 of us now.
Yep,
those were bangers. The 1-0.
Dude, I remember Ricky Henderson when in 2000 when Hendo was rocking those black jerseys.
Stole 3 bases against Boston wearing those. And now Polanco is looking at a 1-1 count so far. He, against lefties, he does pretty well. Does 10 home runs, but a low batting average. Here's the pitch, and here is a fly ball to shallow left field. Could that drop? Nope, that ain't dropping. And that is going to leave Julio at first base. And now that's going to be 2 down. They're talking about Jack.
Let's go, Hanny.
But yeah, Mitch Haniger is up to bat. 9 pitches for Hall. Looks like that's pretty much an on-par performance so far. Mitch Haniger, he did get one of the RBIs last night. He's clean up, and here's the pitch. And that is in there for a strike.
Nice little backdoor slider, right there in the the outside corner. Very good pitch to start off Hanny.
Yeah, pretty much. And now we're looking at the 0-1. Jung-Hoo Lee of the company says hello. How's it going? Maybe you saw my video between him against Ichiro. I did make a couple comparing videos. Now we're looking at the 0-1. And now here's the pitch. Outside for a ball, 1-1. We're looking at 11 pitches so far. Mitch Haniger against the lefties in 23. He hit 1 home run, batting .254. Hopefully he can take advantage. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. It was an upper fastball of 92.
Yeah, fastball right at the top of the zone.
12 pitches in. Mariners really got to get something going before the offense, the juggernaut offense of the Brewers show up. And now here's the 1-2. And now here's a ground ball. This will probably do it. The throw to first, and it's in time, and that will retire the side. Mariners leave one man on base, and we go to the bottom of the first. It is no freaking score.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We're proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
Yep, and if you would like that siding and painting, use the promo code Modern Rooftop for your 20% off, as commercial break is still going on. We are anticipating Bryce Miller to hopefully pitch a little bit better.
You hope. It's hard. Like, I don't know how you feel, but it's hard to get excited for Bryce Miller starts. Just knowing exactly how he's going to work, start in, start out. You're just hoping that he has enough of a secondary pitches where it kind of negates the fastball a little bit. That gives the Brewers something else to watch out for instead of just sitting dead red fastball.
Yeah, just boring gas and something that you don't want to like burn your arm out on. Sometimes you got to do that breaking stuff, and we saw Felix do that before, where he really did throw a lot of gas, and eventually the wear and tear got to him.
Develop the change. Yeah.
Develop the change. And now here's Bryce Miller. And now here is the very first pitch. And here it is. And that is a fly ball to right field. And there is Mitch Haniger. He's there. He makes the catch. And we saw that just right off the bat, immediately just threw a fastball. Only topped out to 94.
94, right, essentially right over the heart of the plate. And he actually got away with one. That ball easily could have been.
That should have. If that was Yelich, I think he's waiting for that kind of pitch, and he does top out as a 95. And now here's William Contreras batting second in the order.
Fastball right there, 0-1.
And now here is the pitch, and that was right in there for a 96, strike 1. Let's hope that Miller can just change it up, because that's the second straight pitch with a fastball. Thanks to Bryce Miller. Now I actually pay attention to pitches. And now here is the 0-1 pitch. And a swing and a miss. And that time it did not look like a fastball. I think that looked like more like a sinker, because that did go down a little bit.
Something a little off speed, maybe a change down at the bottom of the zone.
And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with that fastball at the outside. Nice pitch by Bryce Miller, and we got 2 down.
If you're going to throw something, up in the zone, make sure it's a little bit more up out of the zone to avoid contact. I think he did a fantastic job right there with that.
He really did it. And now here's Christian Yelich, the man who hit that towering home run. It was just absolutely crushed. It was destroyed. And now here's the pitch. And that is a strike. This time he's doing with the breaking stuff. Batting .348 with 3 home runs and 4 RBIs. Off to a great start this season. And now here's the 0-1. And now here's a ground ball right to the first baseman, Dylan Moore. The throw to first. And it's in time. And a 1-2-3 inning for Bryce Miller. Something that I did not expect. But hey, we go to the top of the second. It is now 1-0 Mariners. It is now 0-0 Mariners. I was like, I wish it was 1-0. Now I just jinxed it.
That's awesome. No, credit to Bryce Miller. He actually worked quick through the inning. He was able to induce Yelich right there. That was a nice pitch, low in the zone. Got him to roll over a little bit down the first base line. This is exactly what you want to see from Bryce. Work quick, get through the inning as quick as you possibly can. Don't give up anything significant. Let's see if that carries on to the second inning.
Oh yeah, let's hope something happens for the second. Yeah, let's hope something happens.
Yeah.
All right. And also, if in case you guys don't know, I work with SeatGeek. Use my promo code Rooftop Sports if you are looking to go to the Mariners Cubs game on Friday. And looks like we're getting close to it because they're showing all the Mariners highlights from last season. And speak of last season, I missed those jerseys from last year. I really missed them deeply. They actually really did look baseball MLB worthy. And now the ones now, they look like some cheap.
They look goofy, don't they? Yeah. I was thinking about getting a new jersey for the start of the season, and then I saw what was happening in spring training. It's like, dude, I'm not spending money on crap like that. That looks little leaguish.
And especially the way when they were showing Cal Brawley's pants, that gave me a lot of reasons to put out some Austin Powers jokes, unfortunately. Which I did make a video. I actually did make a video basically doing the same thing with the whole rocket thing. And
I wonder if that's the reason why they're not wearing the Sunday cream jerseys, because it's not all too flattering for the baseball players to wear on a Sunday afternoon.
And now here's Mitch Garver. He takes one for a ball. And now here's the pitch. And that gets away. And that's going to be ball 2 to Mitch Garver. Mitch Garver's batting 188 with 1 RBI. He's 1 for 2 in the series. So he did actually contribute for the team.
Yeah, he had the double early yesterday.
He did. And he took one for the team. And that's a 3-0 count. And good eye by Mitch Garver, being patient with the plate on this one. And now here's a 3-0. And that was right in there for a strike. It would have been tough to see that being a ball, like 4 straight balls in a row. And now here's the 3-1 pitch. And now here's a fly ball to left field. Just that angling of that camera made it so convincing. And now we got one down.
You're absolutely right. It looked like there was looked like it was going to be a surefire double, but contact is still contact, and that's granted it's an out. You like to see that. You like to see in those fastball counts them actually turning on fastballs instead of swinging through them, which we saw a lot in the Boston and Cleveland series.
And now here's the pitch, and that is a ball, just like the Julio Rodriguez, where I really legit thought that was a home run, and even the cameraman was convinced, only for it to land on the glove. And now here is the 1-0 pitch. And now here is a fly ball, but that's just the outfielder didn't even have to move. He moved a few steps, and he makes the catch, and we got 2 outs already. This inning's going really, really fast. And now up to the plate is going to be Dylan Moore, who is playing first base in favor of that lefty-righty matchup, and also in place of Ty France, who is on leave due to a new baby. Congratulations, Ty France. And now here's Dylan Moore up to the plate, batting 7th in the order. And now here's the pitch. Now here's a line drive, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. And Dylan Moore still keeping this alive with a single. Good hit by Dylan Moore right on the first pitch.
Right. Fastball up. He did a very good job in just taking it into left field.
It's a Dylan Moore that I really do like to see. He makes those little hits, he was the guy that makes all the little things happen.
Keep the chain moving to the bottom half of the lineup. Absolutely.
He does. And even when he's out, it was the most useful out you've seen. Here's the pitch to Urias, and that is a strike. Luis Urias is trying to get something going for this season, considering that he's had injury-filled seasons. Hall with 22 pitches. Urias is batting 154, and now here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball. 1-1. If there was like 1 or 2 outs, I would say bunt the thing, but that's not the case. Or 0 or 1 out, and now we're looking at 1-1. Upcoming homestand. We got the Cubs and the Reds on its way. Now here's the 1-1 and popped up and fouled. I really thought that was a pop-up in fair territory, it looked like. In 21 had his best season with 23 home runs. That's the Luis Urias that we are hoping to see, along with 2021 Mitch Haniger, which would be nice. And looks like we got a time called.
You know, the interesting thing is the fact that the Brewers have Gary Sanchez behind the plate, and not exactly the type of guy that's going to be throwing darts down to second base. It's quite interesting how the Mariners aren't utilizing speed on the base paths.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad to see where Gary Sanchez's career has been. I mean, when he first came in, he was like one of the rising stars of the team before Aaron Judge broke out. Now
Correct.
Here's the 1-2, and that is low, and that is going to be 2-2. And yeah, you're right. I mean, there's several opportunities the Mariners have had to at least move the runners. Gary Sanchez has been bounced around quite a bit. He was with the Yankees. He was with the Twins. Now he's with the Brewers, unless he's been with more teams. And now here's the 2-2. And now here's a ground ball, and this will do it. The throw to first, and it's in time. We got a hit out of it, but still nothing. And looking up Gary Sanchez, he was the Mariners. Not the Mariners, the Yankees, the Twins, the Mets, the Padres, and then the Brewers.
Yeah, he's bounced around a little bit.
He does bounce, and guys does strike out quite a bit. And speaking of the camera angles of the whole thing where we think it's a home run, I remember I didn't watch the 99 inaugural Safeco Field game, but during COVID, I did see that game because they showed it to us. I wish it was on YouTube. But I remember seeing Griffey's first at bat. As soon as he hit the ball, Dave Niehaus was like really hyping it up. The fans are going crazy. Griffey thought it was going to go out. Lands in the outfield glove, and some say that hit rubbed Griffey the wrong way about Safeco Field, other than the hitting practice.
Well, okay. I mean, I can get into it if you want, because I actually know the story. You know, the Safeco Field, what he said publicly was not the reason why he wanted to be traded from Cincinnati, and a lot of it had. Okay, let me rephrase it. Not a lot of it. All of it had to do with A-Rod. There was a lot of behind Junior's back with A-Rod to management, but it just Safeco ended up being the convenient excuse. Because I mean, if you really look at Safeco Field's dimensions, especially right field, when it comes to pull power hitting at T-Mobile Park, it really does favor left-handed pull hitters. And Junior, you know, had he stayed in Seattle, I would probably assume that Junior would still continue doing what Junior's been known to do.
And he would have adjusted.
He would have adjusted. He was
already 100%. Kind of adjusting anyway. And I thought you weren't going to even say that in public.
I'm not going to say the entire thing, but a lot of it had to do with Alex Rodriguez.
Another complicated free agency story that was too. I mean, other than of how he left Seattle, it was his agent Scott Boras also didn't help.
Well, you know, that's kind of an interesting question. I'm actually curious to know, do you think Mariners fans would ever forgive A-Rod?
No, they never will.
It's unfortunate. Like, if he apologized, I mean, now the perception of A-Rod is completely different as he was as a player. And he's come back to Seattle a few times and said some nice things about Mariners fans.
He did. He wanted to reconnect with them, but the Mariners fans just didn't want to have it. And it's the whole hatred is just, it's odd. It really is.
If the Mariners reached out to bring him back in, I would probably think that smooths everything over. Like, the Mariners would have to be the one to do it, though.
Well, and if you notice, like, I think it's kind of one of the reasons, the whole A-Rod thing is one of the reasons why, and by the way, we're at 1-2. I think it's one of the reasons why 2000 is just swept under the rug in nostalgia. And now we're looking at a 1-2 count. And now here's the pitch. And just misses for a ball. Because you notice, like, they talk about 95 and 2001 all the time, but they forgot that the Mariners were also 2 games away from the World Series. And they almost won that Game 6 against the Yankees. And now here's a 2-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 called right down the middle. A fastball for Bryce Miller. is actually pitching pretty well so far, of mixing it up just a bit.
Well, and if you remember 2000 without having A-Rod in 2001, which is primarily the reason why the Mariners had troubles with the Yankees in the ALCS in 2001. But there was no doubt that he had a phenomenal 2000 season. But yeah, I would tend to think that when Mariner fans look back at some of those playoff runs, you don't hear a lot about 97 either or 2000, but you definitely hear about 95 and 2001, primarily.
It's pretty unfortunate. Now we're looking at a 1-0, and now here is the pitch, and that is low for a ball. It didn't help that Mariners didn't win the ALDS in 97, but if you took away the fact they lost that, everyone forgot that Jeff Fassero had a lights out performance in Game 3 of 97. And I do think it was one of the best performances. And here's the 2-0, and that is the 3-0.
Well, the Mariners had the unfortunate complication of going up against Mike Mussina. There was two pitchers that thoroughly handled the Mariners in the 90s every time out, and that was Pedro Martinez, and the other guy was Mike Mussina.
The Moose.
Moose. Moose just had their number.
He always did, whether it was Baltimore or the Yankees, and they can say that him with the Yankees had a lot to do with it, at least for 2001. And they're still advertising for the Cubs. If you are going to the Mariners game, which I'm not because I'm here, head over to T-Mobile Park. But use my promo code. It's right over there.
Yeah, $20 off. You can't beat it.
Can't. And now here's Jake Bauers, the man who was a big part of the big win for the Brewers yesterday. And that is a fastball for a strike. And we got a man on first base, unfortunately. Hopefully Bryce Miller can get out of this. And Jake Bauers is 1 for 10 this season. It's been a struggling start. And now here is the 0-1 pitch. And that is right in there for a strike. He's still throwing that gas. Would still like to see him mix it up just a little bit. With strike 2, I'd say you can pitch anything else but a fastball, and because you don't really have much to lose. So let's see if he does mix it up to throw him off. Because
if he's that guy, then just live or die by the gas. But I mean, I'm 100% with you.
He throws another gas, and that's for a ball. He tried to fool him on the going upstairs, but because he's already seen it now 3 times, he's not going to be fooled. But hopefully he gets fooled on this one. Let's mix it up, Bryce. And now here is the 1-2 pitch. And that was another fastball, foul ball
again.
4 straight fastballs in a row. You would think that Jake Bauers would get the contact by now, but considering that he is 1 for 10, who knows? Yelich would love to have this plate back right now. 19 pitches for Miller so far. Bryce Miller made his MLB debut in Oakland May 2nd, and he was absolutely lights out that game.
Yes, he was.
And now we're looking at a 1-2. And the throw to first. Not in time.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I believe Bryce had a string of his first 5 starts where he looked absolutely unhittable before the league got caught up to Bryce in his fastball.
Really did, yeah. And then here's the 1-2. And a swing and a miss, and that's what we are looking for. Strike 3. He did mix that up with the breaking stuff. And now we got 2 down, and thank you, Bryce Miller, for mixing it up this time. It was a nice little, if I look at his savant and see which one it could have been, looked like it was a curveball. It has to look like a curveball. But he swung and missed at it. And now here's got Gary Sanchez, the former Yankee star. Here's the pitch. And here's a ground ball right to Urias to throw to second. And it's in time. It was really close. And we go to the top of the 3rd. It is now still 0-0. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Yep, I know I already talked about it, but you guys know the drill, and pretty good innings so far for Bryce Miller. Pretty good outing.
Yeah, two innings in, fastball heavy. The most damage that he hasn't really given up any damage whatsoever. He's been able to maintain being fastball heavy. So yeah, good job.
Let's hope the offense takes advantage of it. And they're also advertising Fubo as part of the Mariners. I wish YouTube TV would actually be part of the Mariners because they have the better servers than Fubo does. Sure.
I actually would like to see a similar situation of what they were doing in spring training, having the streaming on their own website platform. Swanee and I have been talking about this. I mean, if the cable situation long term is not going to be feasible, then get to a streaming platform, or even do it themselves in house. Makes a lot of sense, especially if you go to a subscription base where you can get the entire season for X amount of dollars, and game in and game out. You're going to have a high quality product.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
But sadly, Roots is still part of the Mariners, and there was a rumor that,
well, contractually they still have partners contractually, however long that contract lasts.
And we got a bunt attempt by Samad Taylor, and he gets to first base, and he was just blazing fast on that. Nice,
good bunt.
Nice job by Samad Taylor. He's already given the impression so far, at least in the first 3 at-bats. And I just missed the advertisement that they're giving that Ken Griffey Jr. bobblehead away, which I'm pretty sure that was the one he robbed Albert Bell in '96.
Do you have a picture of the bobblehead? Just out of curiosity, I don't.
Maybe we can look on the website. And now here's JP Crawford up to bat, and I think this is a great opportunity for Samad Taylor to steal that base, especially he's got that speed on him. Or JP maybe should bunt. We're looking at the 1-0. And now here's the pitch. And did that hit him? It just went by, or was that fouled off of his bat? Oh, but that was a wild pitch. So Samad Taylor gets an easy stolen base out of it.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Has to be. There's the clip. I know for sure. And it was when Chris Bosio was the pitcher. That was his final season with the Mariners.
Okay, yeah. Okay. 94.
And now here's a pop fly, and that looks like quite a bit of run. That drops in for a base hit.
That's going to drop.
And that's going to drop. No, Samad Taylor does not. But
back to third base, but still
very close.
Runners on the corners.
Yeah.
There you go, JP.
One thing I'll never forget about Albert Bell as well is when I think he was going for 4 home runs because he had 3, and then he got beaned, and he tried to argue with the umpire.
Yes,
he wants to bat. That's what I like about him. He has that kind of personality where he's not afraid of anything.
I don't want to take my base. Yeah, absolutely.
The umpire's like, nope, take your base. Now here's Julio Rodriguez. This is a great opportunity for the Mariners to get some runs in. And here's the pitch.
Absolutely. Let's cash in.
Inside for a ball.
Surprising they didn't try to lead him off with a slider, down in the dirt, try to get him to chase. It's a fastball in on the hands, a little too in on the hands right there.
Now here's the 1-1 or the 1-0, and that's a strike. Well, now it's a 1-1, but he swung and missed at that. It was like an off-speed pitch, it looked like. 32 pitches for the pitcher right now. Last season, he was batting .299 with runners in scoring position. This is his chance. Here's the pitch. And now here's a ground ball, and that will get right through for a base hit. Here comes Samad Taylor, and the Mariners take the lead 1-0. Nice hit by Julio Rodriguez with the runners in scoring position.
Absolutely perfect. Cashing in with a runner in scoring position. This is something that you almost get tired of saying that these are the most opportune times. It's nice to see Julio take advantage early in this game.
Yeah, and he didn't have to kill the ball to make it happen. Let's just get the
runs. That's exactly
in.
right.
It's the little things that matter like this. And now we've got a 1-0 lead so far. And I think Crawford just moved to third base for whatever reason. And they're showing some Papa Murphy's. I had some Detroit pizza, just a small piece of it before this show. Detroit pizza tastes amazing.
The what was it? Hey, by the way, did you see what the Detroit Tigers did, copying the Mariner Trident home run celebration? Did you?
Oh yes, with the pizza.
the pizza stick. Yeah,
it's cheesy, but hey, at least they have personality for it, and it really explains who they are. They're known for the.
Little Caesars is their main corporate sponsor, so it's the Little Caesar spear that that he holds in the pizza. Yeah, it's pretty comical.
And that is in there for a strike, and that looked like a curveball to Jorge Polanco, and he also has an opportunity to drive in J.P. Crawford with Julio at first. And what I would like to see is Julio just try to take second. You have the momentum.
Right. Take the double play out of the situation, 100%.
Here's the pitch, and that's a fly ball foul, and especially with no outs, and especially if that's Julio's protege is stealing. And
you can see that he's still I mean, that off-speed pitch right out over the plate, and his timing, you can still see that Polanco's timing is still off.
Here's a ground ball that should get another run, to throw to second and the throw to first, and not in time, and that will be 2 runs in, an RBI by Polanco.
Oh, he got bailed out. Takes away the double play, but still though.
Double play, RBI.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be up 2-0?
Wouldn't that be a 6-4 fielder's choice? Does he still get credit for the RBI right there? Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's a good question. And that is a strike. Let's take a look and see what the stats say. Yep, they gave him the RBI. Chris, how's it going? Thank you for being a member of this channel. And now here's Mitch Haniger up to the plate. This is still an opportunity for him. Let's make something happen. And here's the pitch. And that is low for a ball.
Let's go, Hanny.
Mitch Haniger batting .241 with a home run and 4 RBIs. Now I'm really thinking about going to that Griffey bobblehead night. I'm really considering it. Here's the 1-1. And now here's a ground ball foul. I just want the one where he robbed it from Albert Bell.
Oh, I believe the Mariners had another junior bobblehead. This might have been years ago. It was the bobblehead showing him robbing the Jesse Barfield when he robbed Barfield in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, and the way he did it. Yeah. It was, and I think Randy Johnson was pitching a complete game.
So in 1995, this was on May 26, 1995, Randy Johnson was on the hill, and I believe they were playing the Orioles.
Baltimore.
The Orioles were in town. And
here's the 2-2. That is low for a ball. Go ahead.
The next day was my birthday, so I already had tickets for that game, and that was the game where I believe Kevin Bass hit the shot into right center field, where Junior climbed the wall
and that amazing catch,
shattered his wrist. Yep,
did. And now here is the 3-2 pitch. And now here's a ground ball, and that will get right through for a base hit. I think there's an opportunity to run to third base, and Polanco does get to third base, and the Mariners' offense is really getting up there and after it.
Absolutely.
Good job by Haniger to move it.
Yep, getting a nice little clean base hit. It takes advantage of that breaking ball that was right out over the plate, man.
It really was. And I think also Griffey hit a home run that game before he shattered that wrist. And now we're looking at 6 hits tonight, all singles. They're doing it in a very clean way, that small ball thing that we really do like to see, that we were expecting at the start of the season. Now here's Mitch Garver. Here's the pitch. And that is inside for a ball. And this is exactly what the Mariners needed.
Quick trivia: who replaced Junior in center field for the time that he was out?
Alex Diaz.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's the 1-0. And it's inside for a ball. I even know in 96 when he got hurt because of a foul ball that messed up his wrist, and Rich Amaral took over.
Yeah.
Only because of, you gotta love these guys, because I only watched it like 100 times.
That's funny.
And now here's the 2-0, and that is a ball. Now I remember how they explained that Dave Hollins trade. Rick Grizz was like, but he didn't even explain who the trade was. Well, he's not going to, but I remember I was like, who's Dave Hollins and what's this trade all about? And then years later, I'm like, oh no, it was to
Oh,
get
there
rid
you
of
go.
Ortiz. Yeah. And now here's the 3-0. And here's a ground ball, and that will get through for a base hit. And now it's going to be 3-0 Mariners on an RBI by Mitch Garver.
Huge.
Now,
huge.
3-0.
Huge. 3-0, and he gets a fastball literally letters high. And he just pokes it right between shortstop and third base. Huge. Actually, as a matter of fact, it was off the third baseman's glove right there.
It did get off the glove.
Yeah. Huge base hit right here.
Yeah, it would have. It was a great hit. And did Brewers get any hits? They did. Yes, they did. Oh, they didn't. Oh, it was a walk. That's right. Bryce Miller walk. And now here's Cal Raleigh.
Still only one out.
And here's Cal Raleigh. Here's the pitch. And that is a strike. And the best part is, no offense to Ty France, you can't get a double play. You would think. 47 pitches for Hall. The Mariners are really working him out. Let's make it happen, Cal Raleigh. And now here's the pitch. Foul ball, strike 2. Already down to strike 2, which makes me just slightly nervous. Because we definitely want to get more of those runs in, because with Bryce Miller's way of pitching, with not mixing up his pitches, Brewers can still make a comeback in some capacity.
Well, absolutely. But what you're seeing right now is the Mariners taking advantage of the fastball. You're going to see, Hall's going to be throwing it at, 55, 56% of the time. So the Mariners are doing what they're supposed to be doing, taking advantage of it and laying off some of the off-speed stuff that he can't get over the plate.
And they've been, and this is probably the best we've seen from this Mariners offense in this entire season, because other than that Cleveland game on the first game.
Yep. Which was really only the 3-run shot
by Dom Canzone. And now here is the 0-2 pitch and a foul ball. It's still good to see Cal Raleigh fight it off, though. The more foul balls, the more tired he gets. 50 pitches already in this game for Hall. 3-0 Mariners so far. They're rocking in their teal jerseys.
Ugh.
And now here's Hall. Here's the 0-2. Now here's a ground ball, and that shall be a double play ball to throw to first. And it's in time, and that will retire the side. But the Mariners do get 3 runs out of it, and I think
looks like Service is going to. Is Service going to
challenge the call? I think he should try at least.
Let's see.
I think he put his arms out.
Nope, they got him.
I guess he doesn't want to waste it.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand. Like, I don't me personally, I think this is just the younger generation of Mariner fans that appreciate the teal jerseys, because, if you talk to Gen Xers like me that, live through the teal version 1.0, it wasn't really popular in the 90s. Not a lot of people liked it. What people appreciated was that the Mariners were finally trying something new with their jersey, with their jersey designs. But the problem with teal is that it's, I don't know, to me, I think it's kind of gaudy. I like it as an accent color, but as a primary, it just doesn't, it just doesn't work for me, man.
The worst one, I call it the Butch Husky jersey. The 99 turn ahead the clock. It was like all red.
Yes, that I like that. Do you know why? I'll tell you, and I'll tell you why, because it wasn't traditional Seattle, quote unquote, Seattle colors, which is blue, teal, like some form of green. You know what I mean? Which is why I appreciated the Sonics colors, because it was green and gold. It was something completely not traditional Seattle colors. You know what I mean? That's why I like the red and the black, which is why I appreciate the Tacoma Rainiers, primary colors, which are blue and red. You know what I mean? I think that looks sharp. And the design was kind of gaudy, but I liked the colors.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah. And I did like it was that 2000-2001 colors red when Patrick Ewing was on the Sonics for a whole season.
Yeah. Oh, Patrick Ewing.
And that was the weirdest season, because they dominated the Shaq and Kobe Lakers in their prime. But then when they played like a Vancouver or some other lower tier team, they laid an egg.
It still hurts, man. I can't talk about the Sonics without having 2006 to 2008 come right up to the surface.
Yeah, and it was like right after 05 when they had that random run, and then after that, everything just went downhill.
With the with Vladimir Radmanovich and who
Danny
was the power
Fortson,
forward?
Mr. Six
There you
Fouls.
go. Yeah, Mr. Danny
Reggie
Fortson.
Evans, the collector, and now we're back from the break, and now here is the pitch, and that is a strike.
Danny Fortson was my guy, man. I like Danny Fortson.
He wore down on his opponents. That's why they were able to get those wins.
And by the way,
6 fouls.
And I think that was the Jerome James season too, where all of a sudden he put it out of nowhere. He put it together and had a good playoff run.
Against Sacramento, and he wore that garbage cape, and then the Knicks gave him $30-something million because of that.
Yep.
And now here's the 1-1 pitch to Bryce Terang, and here it is. And that is a foul ball. And Reflect the Sun, how's it going? Yep, good to see that the Mariners made a 3-0 lead, and they didn't have to hit the home runs. They just kept chipping on them.
And this is exactly what you want to give your starting pitcher, a nice little comfortable 3-0 lead. He doesn't have to press. He doesn't feel like he has to be perfect. He can go out there and just do what he does best, which is attack the strike zone.
And now here is the 1-2. And that is a strike 3 called when outside the strike zone, and the hitter could not believe it. And now we got one down. And it's nice to see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, you'll generally, like when it comes to jerseys, you'll generally see me rep the Sunday colors because I love the old school light blue and the canary yellow. I think those were the best colors in Mariners history. And of course, I still to this day think the Star and Trident is the best logo in Mariners history, and I'd love to see them go back as that to their primary colors. And their logo. That would be sick.
Friday ones?
No. 1981 through 1986. It was the Star and Tridents.
And
they had the alternate blue and yellow down the sleeve, the stripe down the sleeve.
Right.
Yeah. Those were unbelievably awesome.
Yeah. The Alvin Davis jerseys, I call it.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's like you start seeing teams kind of go back to their retro logos with their uniforms slightly modernized. I think it would be absolutely sexy if the Mariners went back to the Star and Trident.
And they've already did the Trident experiment on the Nike, and now it took me a while to adjust to it. And now here's the pitch, and that is a ball. I only don't like the Trident just because when I looked at her jersey history all the way up to 86, that was the pre-Griffey era. So I called it the curse of the Trident. I'm one of the few that says that. Here's the 1-0. And just misses it.
It was the curse of horrible ownership and mismanagement.
Really was. And now here's the 2-0 so far for Saul. And now here's the pitch. And that is a strike. And more eerie facts is, if we remember, the former president of the Mariners, Chuck Armstrong, he was involved with the team as early as 1981. Now we got the 2-0 pitch, or 2-1 pitch. And here it is. And here's a ground ball right to J.P. Crawford, the throw to first, and it's in time, and that will retire the side. And that was an easy 1-2-3 by Bryce Miller. We go to the top of the fourth, still 3-0 Mariners.
Yeah, if you remember Gaylord Perry's 300th win, those uniforms that the Mariners were wearing for Gaylord's 300 win, those are the uniforms. Those are the colors, the logo, and the uniforms right there.
It was also the Tom Paciorek era too. How do I even know these names? But he was the catcher, and also he was that color commentator for the Mariners for like a split second in 2001.
Yeah. Who else? Who else was in that era? It was Ray Quiones, Spike Owen.
Was it Presley?
Yeah, Jimmy Presley, Phil Bradley, Mickey Brantley.
Man, that's even more nostalgia.
Yeah, and I do believe that Spike Owen ended up in Boston post Mariner career.
Guess we can find out.
Yeah. I think Spike Owen was in 85, 86, and I think he ended up in Boston in 87, I believe. Could be wrong.
He was. I think he was. Looks like he was traded away to Boston for depth for the '86 World Series run.
There you go.
And then he ended his career with the Angels in '95. So he got to see. So he started his career with the Mariners and ended his career watching the '95.
Yeah, and wow. that's kind of interesting because correct me if I'm wrong. Langston was also on that '86 Mariners team.
He was,
and it's kind of and then it's kind of odd that both Spike Owen and Langston ended up being on the Angels, part of the California Angels in '95. Yeah,
what a time! I actually looked it up, and Joe Madden was actually involved with the Angels as far as the '90s. And now here's Dylan Moore up to the plate. Here it is, and that is a ball. Dylan Moore, who singled last time, and arguably tried to get something going, but it was with 2 outs.
Right, but still, I mean, first pitch, he lines a nice little easy single into left field. Very aggressive.
Really did, yeah. And now we're looking at a 2-0 pitch so far. And here is the pitch, and that is low for a ball. We're looking at a 3-0 count, and Dylan Moore is quietly having a 2-for-2 series. So great to see more of that 2022 Dylan Moore we love. And here's the 3-0. And that is outside for ball 4. As Dylan Moore will take the walk. And this is for you, Dylan.
Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
That will never get old. I love that movie. It quietly became my most favorite baseball movie of all, even though it hurts the Mariners. And that's funny. At least Urias up to the plate.
That's funny. Scott Hatteberg, who? Yeah, he sounds like an Oakland A already.
Hey, how tough is first base? Tell him, Wash, it's incredibly hard.
Incredibly tough. Yeah, it's incredibly hard.
And now we're looking at an 0-1 for Luis Urias.
A lot of baseball fans didn't like that movie. I actually think that's one of those baseball movies that'll stand the test of time.
It aged well. Because and most of it didn't even have baseball playing. It was just like, because now I think as time goes on, people like to see more of the politics and like the behind the scenes stuff, which is why I think the prequels of Star Wars actually started to age very well, because it actually talked about, because back when it came out, nobody cared about it then, but now it's like an actual interesting topic of talking about what happens behind the scenes.
You lost me at Star Wars, but I'll take your word for it.
You don't watch Star Wars?
No, I'm not a Star Wars guy.
It's okay. You haven't missed anything since Disney took over.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. And here's Luis Urias where he's working on an 0-2 right now. And now here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And Urias still continues to struggle. And Dirty Baseball, one of my favorite fans, going offense finally doing something. They still got to do more. And yes, Shane Bieber is out for a year. It is an absolute shame because he was pitching well. That's
going to be a huge loss for the Indians. One of the biggest problems last year with the Guardians had was not getting consistent starting pitching, and this is after a 90-win season. And now, you come into 2024. Bieber looked very sharp in his start against Seattle, and it's just a shame. That's gonna be a huge hole for the Guardians to fill.
It really is, and that is a strike. And Samad Taylor, he is already well contributed. Ooh. I mean, there was a time where I thought he may have taken that last spot, but they just did not give it to him because there just wasn't room. But Canzone, you must be concerned. And here's the runner goes, the throw to second, and it is not in time. Dylan Moore with a stolen base.
Perfect.
And reflect the sun, Bieber needs Tommy John, and so many Tommy John victims this season.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame too. I mean, word is that Bieber actually started feeling discomfort in his first start of the season, which carried on and through that start against the Mariners. If you asked me if he was feeling discomfort, he certainly didn't show it against the Mariners, but it's a shame.
It really is. And I'm curious of like the Tommy John statistics back in the 90s compared to now, because in this day and age, we've got pitchers pitching. The 100 pitches is pretty rare these days. But now I wonder, because back in the 90s, it was much more common. So I'm curious to see how many Tommy Johns were there back then versus now.
I would probably think you're seeing more now because you have players that are getting Tommy John as a precaution. Like if there's a slight tear, or even if there is if there's multiple sprains on the UCL, you'll actually see players opt for the Tommy John as a precaution.
And looks like we have a review going on. Pretty interesting. I wonder what this is all about. Nope. Looks like they're moving on. And a strikeout. And down goes Samad Taylor.
Let's go, JP.
Good thing Dylan Moore moved to second base, because there's still an opportunity to make it at least 4-0, maybe 5 if we're lucky. But JP Crawford doesn't really do much against the lefties with home runs. So
some weird, some reason time was called, but that's odd.
And looks like we're back in business right now. 61 pitches for Hall. He has struggled throughout this game, but Mariners will take every bit of advantage. And now we're waiting for that pitch. Here it is. And he misses it for a ball. And I thought that would be called a strike.
Yeah, it looked like a strike. The biggest problem with Hall right now is he doesn't have the off-speed command, so he's relying on his fastball, at least to stay into counts, and the Mariners have made him pay.
And now it is a 2-0 count, and JP Crawford's already ahead of the count. And with Julio Rodriguez up to bat, and he's been hitting pretty well. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but there's an opportunity. And now here's 2-0.
JP works a walk here. Ooh.
He does. If he works the walk, that'd be great, because that's what JP did very well last year. And yes, he did strike out into the 100 times, but those times where he did strike out, at least it took like 10 plus pitches to do it.
Correct. He's a very patient hitter.
And he takes it for a strike. Maybe it was a matter of time that it would finally hit the strike zone. But I think JP really wanted to walk on that. And now we're looking at the 3-1. And now here's the pitch. And that is popped up. And it was the right pitch to hit. It was right down the middle. And he makes the catch.
Yeah, he was a little too ahead of that.
He really was.
Skied it. Ugh.
Just missed it. And now we're going in. Yeah, we're going into the bottom of the fourth, and Mariners lead 3-0.
But what you like to see is that base running aggression, putting a little bit more pressure on the defense. I like to see that. I love seeing that Dylan Moore stolen base.
Yeah, something that we appreciate out of Dylan Moore. I mean, I remember when I first saw him play, he had a difficult time to field it, but then he really has came along to be one of the more grinding type of players.
Well, in his role, certainly in 2022, 2021, 2022, specifically for his role, he's been consistent. Especially versus left-handed pitchers, you know exactly what you're going to get. Last year, you can throw that away, and now all of a sudden, here now in 2024, he's picking up where he pretty much left off in 2022. So you like to see that. You like to see that in the amount of at-bats and opportunities he's cashing in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what was I going to say? As we were talking about the as we were talking about the retro jerseys, the 87 through 92, which would be the beginning of the junior era, which was the light blue, and it had that big yellow S on it.
Yes.
I'm talking the hat with the big yellow S on it.
Yep. Which I actually did like.
Yeah, I did too.
And then that one, I think that was until 93, and that since then was like basically say rest is history.
Right, and our current logo has been in effect since 93.
It really has, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think when Will was hired, I didn't think they had the logos or anything changed yet.
And it makes me wonder if the Mariners will ever rebrand.
I hope they do. I'm like at the if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of mentality. Here is the pitch. And now here's a line drive, and that's going to get in the gap for a base hit. It was an 85-mile-an-hour pitch, and he's going to go to second base for a stand-up double.
Leadoff double.
I think he tried like a changeup or a breaking thing, but the barrel just happened to hit the ball.
Yeah, was it William Contreras?
That was Contreras, and now you got Christian Yelich, and already I'm getting a little bit nervous, but let's see if Bryce Miller can figure this out. Christian Yelich.
Go ahead. Sorry about that. I was going to say, if you're Bryce Miller, you're going to have to continue doing what you did with Yelich. Stay on the outer half of the plate. Nothing in. Don't give him any type of pitch where he can extend.
Oh, Dirty Baseball's already feeling it. Not yet. Don't feel it quite yet. I'm hopeful, unfortunately. Here's the 1-0, and that is a foul tip. But I don't blame you, Dirty Baseball, for saying that. I don't. I mean, we're already on the wear and tear feelings anyway. 8 home runs in the first 6 games for Milwaukee. And now here's the 1-1. And check swing. Did he go? He did not. Didn't think he went anyway. So now it's going to be a 2-1. And now, honestly, like, I hate to say it, but if Miller actually walked him, I will honestly take it. Just so we can get a double play or a triple play. And now here is the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2.
Fastball up.
And now we're looking at a 2-2 for Christian Yelich. Now here's the pitch. And that is foul tipped. We're looking at a 2-2 still. He does strike out against the righties just slightly less. By about a 2% differential, if not less than a 2% differential. Now we're looking at the 2-2. 37 pitches for Miller. Here it is. And it's just outside for a ball. And we're looking at a full count. 38 pitches for Bryce Miller. He's trying to find a way to get Christian Yelich out. Something tells me that he might just walk him. And now here's the pitch. And now here is a fly ball to center field. Yep. And Julio's there, and he makes the catch. And I don't think there's enough range. No, not enough range for...
Yep. Contreras to move over
the runner. So good job on Yelich to jam him up.
Oh, absolutely. That was a huge first out.
And I think he was trying to like not make it such an obvious strike. So great pitch by Miller.
Going back to the tried and true fastball up, and Yelich just got right under it.
He got jammed. That's why you pitch on the uppers. As a softball player to understand, inside and up is the most deadly part. Willie Adams is up to the plate.
Just out of curiosity, is it slow pitch or fast pitch?
Oh, slow pitch. Slow pitch co-ed.
Ooh.
And we're looking at an 0-1 count. Except I'm not the pitcher in that league. I also play my church league, and that's where I'm like the star pitcher.
Yeah, don't brag. Don't brag or anything.
And now here is the 0-1 pitch from Bryce Miller. And a swing and a miss and a throw to second. Not in time. Cal Raleigh had the idea. And now I know. And now that I said that statement, I got to back it up. I got to back up exactly the time I said it.
Yeah.
I'll note it. And if I screw up, I'll make a video about it saying, "Oh, was that the star pitcher?"
I'm gonna have to see something on the Twitter feed of you pitching. I'm gonna have to assess it myself. I mean, you're talking a big game, so you're gonna have to back this one up.
No pressure. Reflect the Sun says, looking to draft Rooftop on my fantasy softball squad. Am I the number 1 pick?
Ooh, snap.
And we're looking at an 0-2 for Willie Adams. And here's the pitch. And here's a ground ball right to J.P. Crawford. The throw to first, and it's in time. Dylan Moore had to check to make sure that his foot hit the bag. But now we got 2 outs.
Yeah, you don't want any of that. You don't want any of that fantasy smoke, by the way, right? That you don't need that type of pressure. Even having one bad outing, you're gonna have 20 people coming up and be like, "What's up, bro? My fantasy squad, bro."
And Reflect the Sun says, "No Debbie Downers. Hey, every comment is welcome here." even if it's doom and gloom or cheerleading. Either way, here's the pitch, and that is a strike.
Oh yeah, more curmudgeonry, the best, right? I love Mariner curmudgeons. You know, where you have that whiff of poop pantsery in that in the comments, right? I love all negative in the first like 2 weeks of the season.
Oh, it's the best. And here is O2, including myself. I am one of those as well. Even though I say I'm aware of it, I'm at least the one that's like, I'm not the one that goes, it's just 7 games. I'm like, yes, it's 7 games, but let's not make it a trend. I'm one of those types.
Right. My favorite.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will retire the side. Bryce Miller got out of a little slight jam.
Yeah,
and we go to the top of the 5th.
The best was the fact that the leadoff double stayed exactly where it was. That right there was a stellar inning.
I hope that like kills their confidence too. That's what we absolutely need.
Speaking of fans, my favorite is the longtime Mariner fan that is never satisfied. Dare I say that there's always a slight twinge of anger in his voice and will never be satisfied until the Mariners win a World Series, right? Like I'm one of those type of fans where I don't want to hear spin. I don't want to hear puff. I don't want to hear excuses. I just want to see a ring. That's where I'm at now.
And that's what we should all want. Like we all say, whether you're a positive guy or a negative guy, at least it all comes in the intentions that we want to see that ring. We want to see a nice parade in Seattle. Heck, we want to see a riot as long as no small businesses are harmed or anyone's harmed. But hey, maybe some.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, the thing that concerns me is there's a lot of fans that are okay with just getting to the playoffs. Like that would be like the litmus test for what would be considered a good season. And quite honestly, like, what did you win? Did you win the division? No. Did you win an American League pennant and then lose in the World Series? No. Then how is it a good season?
Well, if you remember, like, did you see that they changed the banner? They changed it from ALCS appearance to wild card appearance. I'm like, that's a new low. Dude, like it was
like, I appreciate the division winning banners, right? 95.
Those are fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I'm fine with the division winning, but they had like the league championship series banner up there. And then they had like the wild card banners. And I'm like, dude, those are what I like to call loser banners. Like you don't commemorate losses.
Look at the Yankees. They don't like if you ask them about 2001, they would say it was an absolute failure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. 2003. Oh yeah, for sure.
Failure.
Yeah, they didn't win the World Series.
2004 blew a 3-0 lead. Huge failure. And now here's Julio Rodriguez up to bat, and that's a foul ball.
The greatest postseason series in Major League history. 2004 ALCS. The greatest postseason series ever.
And I noticed this, but I noticed when John Olerud was in the first 3 games, Yankees were just tearing them apart. And then as soon as he got hurt, rest was history. And some would agree that it's not like he was the reason. Here's the pitch, and that is strike 3 called, and down goes Julio Rodriguez. He doesn't agree with it, but Julio, sit down, just let it go, man.
Caught looking at him. Oh, by the way, Julio, in a 2-strike situation, anything near or around the plate, you swing. You don't take pitches in that situation. You constantly swing. That drives me absolutely crazy when you're taking in a 2-strike count and there's anything that's remotely close to the strike zone.
And Polanco was trying to bunt on that, and very, very interesting choice.
Yeah, don't get me started about the 2001 ALCS. Yeah, that I've talked to a few players from that team, and Major League Baseball let the Yankees get away with quite a bit in that ALCS.
It still hurts, and we're looking at an 0-2 count for Polanco.
Well, and then also you have to consider the whole, the 9/11 tragedy that year as well too, and the overwhelming love for New York City. Going into that postseason, and the Yankees were, I think everybody just assumed that the Yankees were going to be the representative of the American League.
Pretty much, it was too perfect to script that. And now here's Polanco, who's working on an 0-2. And now here's the pitch. And that is a foul ball. All I can say is if only Jeremy Giambi slid, I think there would have been a little bit of difference.
Oh, and by the way, he was safe. Giambi was safe on that call. Like, Jeter got the benefit of the doubt on that. To my grave, I will say that Giambi actually touched home before he was tagged.
Now here's the 0-2. And now here is a fly ball. That's going to be shallow. And he's there. And he makes the catch for the out. We're looking at going to the bottom of the fifth, and they're showing that Griffey Rob home run. That one I don't remember. The one that they're showing right now. That one I have no memory of.
Who was it? I got the Brewers feed. So who was it against?
Here's the. What do you think that one is for?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, and it's 2 outs. I didn't say it would retire the side.
Ooh.
Did I say it would retire the side? I kind of did.
Yeah,
but
you did.
Now,
base hit. Haniger.
Spoiler. Here's the 1-0. And here's a line drive. Oh, it gets right over the head. It's a base hit for Mitch Haniger. And he gets on base.
Good piece of hitting right there by Haniger.
Mitch Haniger has been one of the contributors of this team so far.
You get a nice little breaking ball that's in the inner half, but he's able to extend.
You can just tell that he really loves on the Mariners with the way he's playing. And now here's Mitch Garver up to bat.
It's the Mitchell double dip. Let's go, Garver.
Let's do it. And that is a strike. We're looking at an 0-1 so far. 77 pitches for Hall. You would think that after this inning, that would be it for him. We'll see. Now here's the 0-1, and that is a strike.
This would be a perfect situation for a 2-run shot right here, just to kind of break things wide open.
It really would, and Garver has the power to do that. And with 2 strikes, you really don't have much to lose, and with 2 outs, so why don't you just go for it? And now here's the 0-2, and a swing and a miss, strike 3. Not exactly a great swing, especially on the outside.
No. It's a complete defensive swing, but you were right. He was, I think you framed it perfectly. Why not go for it? And that kind of swing was kind of indicative of that.
Ouch. And now we are going into the next inning. Still 3-0. Let's hope that this still holds up.
Looks good. Looks good so far. Bryce is pitching very well.
He is pitching absolutely outstanding. Like, I remember when that double happened, I was getting a little bit nervous. I was like, oh, is this the time? And we had our friend Dirty Baseball going, this is it. We are doomed. And didn't happen. So let's keep it going.
Well, that's why they call him Dirty Baseball. He likes to buck it up. He's dirty.
We're calling you out, Dirty Baseball.
Yeah, I'm taking you to task, Dirty. But you have to be very pleased with Miller's performance tonight. Especially considering the Brewers are pretty much a first pitch fastball hitting type of team that like to take advantage, and he's been keeping them off balance. And the fastballs that he's been able to induce swings on, he's putting him. His location is pretty damn good, man.
Let's keep it going for sure. As commercial breaks is still going on, they're showing Cal Raleigh getting showered by a bunch of bubble gum.
Now, do you remember former Mariner pitcher Mike Moore? Does that name sound familiar?
No, and I thought it would. Or wait, do you think he's a mid-10 guy?
No. This was back in the 80s.
Oh no.
So this was in the okay. Are you familiar with the name Brian Holman? Does that name ring a bell?
No.
All right. So Brian Holman was supposed to be Brian Holman and Mike Moore were supposed to be that next wave, which was going to carry over from Langston to Johnston. It was noted that those guys were going to be that key trio, and it didn't end up working out. But there was a memorable moment in Mariner history where I believe it was Mike.
Oh, it was caught by Polanco. Sorry, I had to interrupt you there.
Oh, but no, go ahead.
Jumping catch, and now back to you.
And so they were in Oakland, and I believe Mike Moore was right on the cusp of throwing the Mariners' first perfect game down in Oakland, and it was broken up in the ninth by who? Do you happen to know this? This is actually one of the more popular questions in Mariner history.
Who broke it up? And here's Gary Sanchez up the bat.
It was broken up by former Mariner first baseman Ken Phelps in the bottom of the ninth. He had 26 outs, and Phelps broke up the perfecto and the shutout with the solo shot.
So now I got to make a video how the Jay Buhner trade ruined a perfect game. Here's the 1-0. And now that guy from Seinfeld has maybe two reasons to get angry. He caused,
Frank Costanza.
Yeah, pretty much. And now here's the 2-0 pitch. And here's a pop fly to left field or center field. And here's Julio makes the catch. And the timing of that video was perfect because it was pretty much right after the 95. And that's where he blew up with the what the hell you trade Jay Buhner for.
Why did you trade Jay Buhner for?
And then the Mariners were like, hey, but we got you Tino. Or no, Steinbrenner said, hey, it's all good. I got you Tino Martinez and Jeff Nelson. We good. Yeah, he should have said that.
You know, my scouting people kept saying Ken Phelps.
And now here's the pitch to Bryce. And that is up high for a ball. And I don't think it was just fantastic. A no-no. It was actually a perfect game.
It was perfecto. Yeah.
And right after that, he got the out immediately.
Yep.
Astros are up 2-1 against the Rangers, and now here's 1-0.
It's not as bad as having your perfecto broken up by a bunt.
No, the worst one is your perfecto was broken up by the umpire's call, and he regretted it.
Jim Joyce. Jim Joyce, Andres Galarraga.
He completely regrets it. Here's the 2-0. But it was nice that the fans gave him a nice gesture that they did give him the standing ovation the very next day.
That's Detroit for you.
Very forgiving.
Yeah, good fans.
That was in New York. If it was like New York or Chicago, would have needed an escort. Here's a 2-1, and that is a foul ball.
Can you imagine if that was on the south side of Chicago? Oh boy.
You better be in an armored van for that.
100%.
Here's the 2-2, and and that is up there for ball 3. We just got to get this guy out. Just one more out to go, Bryce. Bryce and Bryce matchup. The only difference is their names, their first name and last, obviously. And here is the 3-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3, and that will retire the side. We go to the top of the 6th. Another 1-2-3. It is still 3-0 Mariners.
Nice.
Bryce Miller with 6 strikeouts. And he's been doing it very efficiently.
That was such a beautiful fastball right there to get Terang. And speaking of Bryce, how about this, man? He's through what are we through 5 right now, and he's only given up 1 hit.
1 hit, and it was off a double.
Yeah.
And how many pitches does he have?
That's a good question. I think we are at.
I think he's around the 80s somewhere.
He's thrown
not 80s.
Let's see, 20.
55.
34, 35. Yeah.
He's at 55 with 37 strikes. Very efficient.
Very efficient, yeah.
Maybe who knows? But maybe Scott won't have to use too much of the bullpen today. Hopefully not. But with early in the season, you probably expect him to. And I think and speak of the bullpen, we can agree. And I think we talked about it yesterday. Aside from the Andres Munoz fiasco, bullpen has actually held up. It's actually exceeded my expectations.
Last night Cody Bolton goes 1 1/3 of shutout ball. Yeah, Stanek gave up the 1 run. But still, in the context of that game, they were the Mariners were still in it, still were able to battle back. But yeah, the outside of the embarrassment of Andres Munoz last night, I would tend to agree with you. Now, by the way, when was the last time that you saw a Mariner reliever have that type of appearance where everything just falls apart right from the first pitch? I can't remember the last time a Mariner reliever had that type of performance. I really think
it was, if anything else that sticks out in the 2010s or 2000s, which they don't, unfortunately, but 99 Jose Mason, July 15, 99.
Yeah.
When Jared Kelnick was still in his mom's tummy.
I can also go back to the days of Bobby Ayala.
1 in 10 in 98.
Yeah, after he had actually had a pretty good 93, and then he had control issues the rest of the way.
It was 94.
Yeah.
Was a 2.86 ERA, and here's the 2.0. And then swing and a miss. He had like one good year in 94 that they gave him a commercial for the 95 team.
Right.
They said he was a scary guy, and that didn't last, unfortunately.
Who is known for one of the great Mariner promotions in team history, the Bobby Ayala goatee night, where the Mariners gave out fake goatees.
Oh no. And Cal Raleigh had a little bit of a conversation because we're at strike 2. We're looking at a 2-2 count, and looks like there's a conversation. And what is going on is there a warning issued in between? Never mind. Looks like there was some miscommunication. I thought there was some arguing, but we're looking at a 2-2, and here is the pitch, and that's a foul ball. Good to see Cal Raleigh still fight. I miss Cal Raleigh being on his lefty side, but it is the lefty-righty. Now here's the 2-2. And now here's a ground ball right to the pitcher. The throw to first, and it's in time, but it was still nice to see Cal Raleigh at least try to gut it out. And now we got one down. And up to the bat should be Dylan Moore, who has also contributed very well. And I did say at the start of this game, I said it should have been Luke Raley, even with the lefty thing matchup, but he has actually held up well.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Dylan's done his job.
He really has. And it's a one for one. Here's the pitch, and here's a ground ball foul. It was nearly a fair ball.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, 1 for 1, 1 for 1 is single, a walk, and a stolen base. How you can't ask for anything better.
You really can't. And
maybe a double.
And Dirty Baseball is mentioning that George Kirby hurt his fantasy team. Let's see how Bryce Miller's doing for me. Here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball. I have Julio, Bryce Miller, Kelenic, and Gilbert. Gilbert did not help me at all. Here's the pitch, and he misses it for a ball.
I had to stop playing fantasy baseball because fantasy baseball ruined it for me all the way through. By the All-Star break, I was tapped out. I couldn't enjoy my baseball season.
Yeah, it's hard to. And it's a 3-1 count, especially when you're consistently checking lineups every single day and making moves. That's why football is so much easier. Here's the 3-1. And ball four, take your base. And Dylan Moore, this is for you again.
Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
And indeed he does.
Guys, go ahead and read your report because I don't want to point at Pete again.
He gets on base.
It's on base, and that's going to be it for Hall. Yeah, that's gonna do it for him.
90 pitches, but the Mariners took advantage of it. Very good for them to do so.
Yep. So now with one out, I would be remiss if I didn't think that Service is going to send him again. Especially, again, Gary Sanchez is not that guy behind the plate that's going to have a high put out rate from behind the plate. So I mean, you saw where that placement was, the ball where that placement was when he tried to throw Dylan Moore out the first time, which was on the other side of the bag. So.
And Dirty Baseball, it was Moneyball.
Yeah, it was Moneyball. And for all you nerds out there that actually enjoyed the movie, the book was even better.
It was, and I remember they were talking so much about. Was it Jeremy Brown they were talking about? I don't know.
Yeah,
they were talking about that prospect, and also I like that they talked about that. They actually pointed out that Billy Beane, he had good ideas, but he was still heavily reliant on his thing where no stealing bases.
Yeah, no stealing bases, no bunts. Yep,
that was a weakness.
Yeah, but you have to give credit to Billy because I mean, granted, a lot of people don't think that was his original idea. It was something that he brought in, and I believe it was Paul DePodesta was the guy that he brought in, and that was really the nexus was DePodesta that Billy Beane inherited and went down that road with him. But obviously, the credit goes to Billy Beane. But because of what the A's were doing with early sabermetrics, building a team around OBP, that, you know, in those type of philosophies, it radically changed baseball from that point on, because teams were now kind of getting rid of the old philosophies and then started developing analytics departments. And it, you know, obviously it's a copycat league. And by 2012, every single team in Major League Baseball at least had an analytics department.
That's a crazy thought. And that's a nitpicker thing about the movie was Paul De Podesta in the movie was Peter Brand, and they swung him from Cleveland. But in actuality, he was actually with the team. Podesta was actually with the team since '99. So, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, great movie, but movies, they always do things to
make they always exciting. Take creative liberties. They always take
and here's the throw to second, and he's out.
Yep.
And I remember you did make that call for it. Like, I don't blame him for the call. He just could not get there in time. And considering that Gary Sanchez threw him out, pretty shocking.
Ooh, really? Let's see this again.
Oh, there could be a review.
No, he's out.
Review.
They got him. They got him on the hip.
The throw to second and right on the ass.
Yep. Cheeks, man. Right on the cheeks.
Ah, the cheeks.
Clapping cheeks, man. Let's go, Urias.
Well, at least got his butt slapped for something.
Good game.
That's what you call a butt slap tag. Just barely. Just right by it.
By the way, how would you rank Moneyball in your top 5 of all-time baseball movies? Like, do you have it high, or do you have it towards the lower end?
Higher end. And I think the other two are going to be like Major League is up there and Bull Durham. So I would have to put all three of them to fight each other.
You're not going to give love
to one too.
You're not going to give love to Kevin Costner's other baseball movie,
Field of Dreams.
No, not Field of Dreams, For the Love of the Game.
I haven't seen that one. I feel like I should be seeing it because Kevin Costner is a huge baseball guy, it seems.
Yeah. Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams is great. And the interesting thing about it, is it a baseball movie or is it a movie? Is it a movie? About family values? Because that whole movie is about him, getting back to his father. But baseball's in it, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, had to make a huge decision whether it was to sell that land or dang the consequences for. And it just proves that sometimes money, it doesn't justify everything.
Good movie, though. Very good movie.
Great movie. And now they have baseball games at that area now sometimes.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I was actually going to go to the Field of Dreams game this year. Turns out that game is in Birmingham, Alabama this year because they're using the Field of Dreams for a salute to the Negro League. So they're playing in the original stadium that the Birmingham Barons played in this year, and I think it's like Braves Giants or something like that. I know the Giants are a part of it this year.
Should have been the White Sox just for Michael Jordan. So I wonder if Michael Jordan's going to be there.
Maybe. He did have a nice season in Birmingham when he did play I believe it was the 94 season.
Yeah, he had 202, 2 home runs, but he had like 30 something stolen bases.
And had the players' strike not happened, because he didn't want to cross the picket line. So had the baseball strike not happened, Jordan probably would have stuck with baseball a little bit because of the strike. He ended up going back to the Chicago Bulls.
Interesting theory, though. There was actually a conspiracy that in that retirement in '93, there was a rumor that David Stern and Jordan agreed to a secret retirement, like a secret suspension, because Jordan actually had gambling problems and a deal with a drug dealer. And Stern was like, "Yeah, we can't have you for 2 years, but I don't want to make it public." And now here's the pitch by Miller, right in there for a strike.
And I can buy a little bit of that because Jordan is kind of I think he might still be. He back in those days he was a degenerate gambler, and I can buy the theory of him stepping away so they can bury an article, because I actually heard that the New York Post was about to release some sort of article. You know what I mean? That would kind of fill in the gaps that involved his dad's death, and I think that Jordan stepped away in order to keep that story buried.
It was, and here's the 0-2.
Much like Major League Baseball.
And 2 days after that retirement, the NBA actually dropped the investigations.
Yeah, dropped the investigations. You know, sweeping it under the rug, much like Major League Baseball and Shohei Ohtani.
I know, it's crazy. And now here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's strikeout number 7 for Bryce Miller.
Looked like he had the split on the inside half. Good pitch.
And Reflect the Sun asked, what about the translator and the betting these days? I mean, Major League Baseball, they pretty much went, nothing happened.
Yeah, have you noticed that that's not being talked about anymore? Like it went from that's anything everybody wanted to talk about for a full week, and now all of a sudden, you know,
it's just dead.
It's dead. Credit to Major League Baseball for killing the story.
Yeah, because imagine if they actually had to like suspend Ohtani, and then baseball viewership just tanks to the ground. And here's the 0-1 pitch. And now here is a fly ball and right to Julio. He didn't have to move.
Like if you're of the opinion that his translator was the one that was, you know, operating by himself and Ohtani had, no knowledge of it. Come on, man.
Nah.
Yeah.
Especially
Ohtani
with
knew.
A name tied to it.
Yeah, exactly. Ohtani
His friend
knew.
just happened to just take the fall.
How are you supposed to be a smart, intelligent individual making that type of money and not knowing that somebody's pilfering from your checking account?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like I was born at night, but not last night, baby.
And William Contreras takes it for a ball, 1-0. We're looking at a 1-for-2, double in the 4th.
Yeah, and it's that type of hypocrisy that just drives me crazy with Major League Baseball.
Yeah, we talked about it last night with the whole Pete Rose thing, and now that they're promoting baseball gambling. And I think we talked about our theories on what really went down, but now we got a 1-1 count on Contreras, and here is the pitch, and just misses it for a ball. Like Pete Rose wasn't exactly like a friend with the league, so I think we can all agree that it had more to do with that than the gambling itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pete Rose had the audacity to sue Major League Baseball, and of course, Major League Baseball is not going to stand up for any type of shenanigans like that. And so they took him to task, and because Pete got aggressive with a lawsuit, that obviously that pissed off Bud Selig to the point where it was a non-starter for him to be reinstated.
And there's a base hit right to center field, and Contreras gets in, and now Christian Yelich is up.
Had Pete just kept his mouth shut and just kind of did his little 1 year, it probably would have played out a little different.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I believe that Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, and all those guys, they're not inducted, and I don't think it's necessarily steroids. They just never really got along with the league very well. And look at Ortiz. He was a proven guy to take the roids, but I mean, the guy loves him. He's a Boston hero.
Yeah, you're probably right about the relationship with the league, but it's also a relationship with the media. Barry Bonds was a complete a-hole when it came to the media, and there's still a lot of longtime media guys that will still have nothing good to say about Barry Bonds.
I mean, look at the time when Barry Bonds was yelling at the Pirates media guy, and Jim Leland had to put him in his place.
Yeah, absolutely. But when it's all said and done, Barry is one of the best. I don't care what anybody
100%.
says. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of his, but the guy hit at 40 years old hitting home runs, steroids or not, that's still unheard of when he hit 73 home runs at nearly 40 years old.
During the 90s, he won 4 MVPs in 5 years, and it should have been 5 straight.
Must have been a voter to fatigue in one of those years. And now we've got Bryce Miller. Here's the pitch. And that's a strike. Just like Jordan, he won 2 MVPs in those 3 peats on both of them. And they gave one to Barkley and Karl Malone because they're like, nah, screw it.
Right. You can't have 4 consecutive MVPs or 3 or whatever, which is ridiculous. It's absolutely
now here's
ridiculous.
A ground ball right to Polanco, the throw to first in time. And only a 2-hitting effort by Bryce Miller.
Pitching a dandy tonight.
Going to the 7th inning.
The stance that Major League Baseball takes with gambling, it's absolutely ridiculous. And when you consider it's not just Pete Rose, but it's also the 1919 Chicago Black Sox, Joe Jackson, Bucky Weaver, and some of these guys that were suspended for life. They didn't take the money per se, but they were involved. They had knowledge, and of course, Kennesaw Mountain Landis suspended them anyways. To have to have those guys still banned for life, and of course they've been gone for quite a while now. But still, it's the hypocrisy of handing down a lifetime ban. That's the thing. It's like at this point, do the right thing. Do the right thing and at least reinstate him. I think punishment has been served enough.
Yeah, just like Pete Rose, like he suffered long enough, and I think the only few times he actually was allowed on a baseball field was when his son made his major league debut, and then some other time when he was honored for something.
Yeah, it was at the '99 All-Star game in Atlanta where they had the 50 greatest players, and I think they had
all-century team. And then Jim Gray just attacked him, and Pete Rose is like, "Hey, we're just supposed to have a good night, and you're just talking about something 10 years ago." And then Jim Gray's like, "Okay, yeah, we're gonna move on." And
Jim Gray,
he knew he got exposed.
Yeah,
and I love how Chad Curtis stood up to him too.
It's one thing, and that's the thing. It's one thing if you have an interview that's not tied to something as great as that moment where it's a celebration for the fans, and you have a dude that's trying to get an inside scoop where Pete Rose is just happy to be back. You know what I mean? It's like
he's already trying to ruined it.
Already ruined it. Yeah, Jim Gray.
It's people like him are the reason why we got small YouTubers like us talking sports now.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, but it's not just the Pete Rose thing. I mean, if you remember, I think he was there that night in Detroit for the Malice at the Palace, where he was trying to interview. He was trying to interview an irate Jermaine O'Neal and Ron Artest after the fact, and it's like, he's trying to put the gears to these guys after the fact. And
the media is the last person you want to talk to. And I think George Kirby may have learned this lesson last year where he expressed he didn't want to pitch after the 7th inning. And that'd be one thing. If he said it to service, fine, but not in front of a camera where it just blows up and you have Roger Clemens calling you out.
That was soft. That, by the way, I still take Kirby to task for that, for that comment. That was absolutely soft.
He shouldn't have said that.
A starting pitcher that wants to be taken out of a ball game said no starting pitcher ever.
Yeah, and then that was like just a month after that he was willing to pitch into the 9th inning passionately against the Orioles to the point he spiked his glove. And now here's Luke Raley. He's actually pinch hitting because of the lefty-righty matchup. And now here is the 0-2 pitch and a swing and a miss, strike 3. And now we got one down.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. I mean, those conversations are, between starting pitcher and the manager. That does not get out to the media whatsoever.
Yeah, because media is like media is not your friend.
No,
they're out there to do their jobs, get some clicks. And now here's JP
exactly right.
Crawford. 7 pitches in for Wilson, and here's the pitch, and that is a strike. Aside from that one inning where the Mariners scored, we haven't seen much offense. You were saying?
Can you imagine Randy Johnson in his prime, Seattle prime, saying that to Lou Piniella? I need you to take me out because I don't want to pitch the 7th.
You know what I miss? I remember the time when Joe Torre tried to take out Mike Mussina. Mussina yelled at him, going, "Sit down!"
Yeah.
And he completed the game.
Yeah,
we don't see that anymore.
And I do have some theories about pitch limits and things. What that leads to more arm injuries.
That's what I was thinking too. And here's the pitch, and it's a ball.
Jamie Moyer. I don't know if you remember this interview, but Moyer was interviewed when it came to some of these arm injuries, and he said that the difference between starting pitchers in the 90s and modern day starting pitchers is today's pitchers don't throw enough in between starts. They don't keep their arms.
They don't keep their arms fresh and conditioned.
Well,
not fresh, but at least in the motion.
Yeah, it's they don't keep their arms loose. He was saying that back in his pitching prime, between starts he would throw a bullpen and he was always constantly taking long toss. He was always keeping his arm loose. You know what I mean?
That's why he had an amazing longevity as JP Crawford strikes out. And looks like Saturday, April 13th. Salute to Armed Forces. If I'm able to cover that game, I am singing the national anthem that night for sure.
Fantastic.
here's the pitch, and a swing and a miss.
Salute to all those in the Marine Corps.
Absolutely.
Love you guys. Love you guys.
And now here's Julio. We're looking at the 0-1. And now here's the pitch. And that is a ball. But yeah, I would love to cover that game. And the rule of my channel is every time there is like some kind of American holiday, I sing the national anthem. And now here's the 1-1. And that is a strike. Some say I should, maybe at least one or two is like, you should do it every game.
The Brewers feed showed a Mariner fan in the crowd wearing the City Connect and a Seattle Pilots hat. You know, those ridiculous Seattle Pilots old school 69 hats with the scrambled eggs on the brim.
And fun fact about the Pilots, I think it was not Diego Segui, or I think it was Diego.
Yeah, no, it was Diego Segui. Yep.
He pitched for both teams on inaugural seasons.
Yeah, he was a part of both inaugural seasons, yeah.
And then we're looking at a 2-2.
Fun fact. Fun fact.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. And a line drive right to the shortstop. The throw to first in time. More like a ground ball. But before you hold that thought, do you know what time it is right now? Now that's the bottom of the 7th.
It's peanut butter and jelly time?
Maybe.
No, seventh inning stretch.
And I remember yesterday we tried to do it simultaneously, didn't really work, but we'll do that back and forth game.
Absolutely.
And forth. So fans, get up on your feet. Time for the 7th inning stretch, and I will start it off by saying this: take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so
let's root for the Mariners.
If they don't win, it's a shame.
Literally.
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball
game. And now it's time for the Louie Louie. I have the lyric screens up. All right.
Louie.
Oh no! Said we gotta go now. Yeah. Louie. Oh baby, said we gotta go.
Gotta go.
Yeah. No, it's a fine little girl waiting for me.
It's waiting for me.
Gotcha. Yeah. Across the sea.
I don't know the words.
We're keeping that alive. We're bringing nostalgia back. And also, fun fact with my intro that I used from Fox, which they haven't copyrighted me yet.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to ask you about that. That was a brave move to use the old Fox MLB intro.
For rule of thumb, as long as it's less than 15 seconds and it's not from FIFA and soccer, I guess you're okay. And as long as you're narrating basically everything.
Sure.
But that specific clip was from the 97 Mariners division winner game against the Angels.
Oh, there you go.
Now here's the pitch. And now here's a line drive, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. It was like a nice little Texas leaguer. Nothing you could do about that. And dirty baseball. Ah, come on. Hey, would you like to sing? I challenge you to sing then.
You don't need to muck it up, Dirty. You can just be happy.
Just be happy. We have a 3-0 game so far, as long as they hold up. But Milwaukee Brewers left-handed batters tonight are 0 for 11 today.
Yeah. And this is going to be kind of an interesting situation now. You know, Miller's giving up the lead, giving up a leadoff single, and now he's working behind now. It's going to be quite interesting to see if Service is going to get somebody up in the bullpen just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Don't have to pull him out. And it's only 70 pitches too.
Correct.
And now here is the 1-0 pitch. And now here is a fly ball to left field, and Rayleigh is there to make the catch, who did take over for Samad Taylor, who did play pretty decent.
Yeah, pretty decent.
Oh, you like just backing on my... Okay, I got you.
hey, Dirty, it's just the little victories, right? It's those little victories that you can hang your head on. I'm all about it. So if you need to bag away, bud.
And it looks like we got Austin Voth in the bullpen. He just started tossing as soon as, I guess, Service hit that, or as soon as they got that hit, Service like, all right, let's get some warm-up going. Now here's the pitch. And here is a pop-up, and that may be playable. Is it for Cal Raleigh? He makes the catch.
Yep, 100% playable. Good play.
And now we got 2 outs already. I mean, it's as if that there was a guy on base already in net with 2 outs.
Yeah, looks like it's Austin Voth.
Let's hope that Bryce Miller... I would say that if he can keep his pitches down, why not go for that complete game? Save your bullpen for the next day, for the season... not the season conclusion, the series conclusion. And now here's the pitch. And that is a ball, especially when you don't have a day off going against Toronto.
Right. But it's also about, if he can maximize this last at bat and get out of the inning and still keep that pitch count within the margin of error, I don't see why he can't come out for the 8th. And you're absolutely right. And an opportunity to give your bullpen a breather. But then again, they had the day off a couple days ago, so.
And Gary Sanchez is up to bat. He has struggled 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice and a fly out.
Yeah. Yep. Gary. Oh, Gary.
Now here's the 2. And that is a strike.
Good pitch. Gary Sanchez wearing number 99. That's kind of an odd number.
Very much. And here's the pitch, and that is a strike. Maybe he's trying to feel like he's Aaron Judge, because Aaron Judge is number 99. And that guy.
Ooh. Interesting. Okay.
And now we're looking at a 2-2 for Gary Sanchez. And here's the pitch. Oh, and Cal Raleigh really trying to sell it to him. I mean, you would think with Gary Sanchez, you can get a strikeout out of him.
By the way, that was strike 3. He didn't get the call, but that was strike 3. That was perfect location for that pitch.
It was a deadly pitch too. And now here is the 3-2 pitch. And that is popped up. And is that playable? It looks like it is for Cal Raleigh or the first baseman. He makes the catch. Dylan Moore, and that will retire the side. And Bryce Moore out of another inning where he gave up a hit. Top of the 8th, still 3-0.
Big out, absolutely. Good way to shake off the leadoff single right there.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And I know this is just kicking a dead horse too much, but Mariners actually did have somewhat of an opportunity to draft Aaron Judge. Who did they pick?
What year was the draft? What was Judge's draft?
Let me take a look. Because he was called up in 16. He did spend quite a bit of time in the minors.
(2010)
Let me see.
2013. 2013, yeah.
And who was the player that the Mariners picked? It was in the first round.
Let's see. So the number 1 overall pick was Houston that year, and I think it was Mark Appel. I also think that was the Chris Bryant draft as well too.
Yeah.
Was that the year that we took DJ Peterson?
Yes, DJ Peterson. And funny, JP Crawford was also in that draft as a 16th pick.
Oh, here we go. So the Mariners had the number 12 pick that year, so they take DJ Peterson. Now I'm going to name off some names, and you tell me if you would take it, if you would have taken him over him. All right. So would you have taken Hunter Renfroe over Peterson?
I mean, I don't know much about him. I feel like I should, but I mean, at this point, what
about Reese McGuire?
Let me look at Reese McGuire's numbers.
Marco Gonzalez was taken number 19 that year.
Actually, at least the pain wouldn't have been as much.
Christian Arroyo got drafted. So I mean, had the Mariners had a pick in the top 10, you might be able to justify maybe taking a guy like John Gray or Chris Bryant. But looking at this first round. It was kind of it looked like it was kind of a weak draft class.
It really was. Yep. And it looks like we got Polanco with an 0 for 1, 0-1 so far. And the sad thing about DJ Peterson, the guy was talented. It's just that some say that his work ethic was in serious question, which is why he never really got anywhere.
Ooh.
Spoiler alert. And now we're looking at, here is the 0-1 pitch on the way. And a fly ball to deep right center field. And that is gone. First home run of the season by Jorge Polanco. And the Mariners extend their lead to 4-0.
There it is. He finally turned on one. And there's the trident.
There it goes, the trident.
And that was it looked like it was an off speed that hung right over the heart of the plate, and he didn't miss it at all.
He really did. That was just perfect. Boom. And well, let's get to the comments. We got Chris, one of my members here. I don't want to say the name too out loud, but blocked my alternative account as well because they actually need to watch the game and bad take. Yeah. It is what it is at this point. But Twitter was quite an adventure in the last 24 hours, if not since the Cleveland game. And now here's the pitch. And that is a ball.
Let's go, Mitchell.
Mitch, do something. Go on top of your 2 of 3. Now here's the pitch. And that is outside for a ball.
Ball 3. Good count for Mitch here.
He has got a great count. Now it's a question. Do you hit the red light or is it the green light? Who knows?
Even
and now
3-0, 3-1, you're going to see a fastball.
And exactly what you saw. It is a strike. 94. Could have been a meatball pitch, but it was a little bit on the inside.
Yeah, but Mitch can turn on that, though.
And here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss, and he got fooled. And that fastball went down.
Yep. Absolutely.
We're looking at a 3-2 full count. Mitch Haniger's really been working on him. And now here's the full count. And ball 4, take your base, and to the first base goes Mitch Haniger.
Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
He gets on base. And on the Penn report, they're talking about Austin Voth and Colin Snyder. They have been pitching very well in their 3 games. Haven't even given up a run quite yet. And I remember at the time I wanted Tyson Miller, but I guess it's out for now. And now here is Mitch Garver. And that is a strike. This game has really been breezing along.
That that was actually the for me at least was the best part of spring training. The bullpen battles down there. It looked like it actually was going to turn out to be a very deep group of arms.
It has been so far.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing you got to credit the Jerry and crew is they do find a way to find a pitcher from the bullpen.
Yep, absolutely.
2 for 5.
And I'll say it again, once Matt Brash comes back and Santos comes back, it's going to be lights out. Oh, it's going to be so lights out.
Let's just hope that they don't trade him at the trade deadline, as if that seems to be the every year cycle. Here's the pitch, and it was a pop-up and way in foul territory. And looks like Rangers score again against the Astros, 2-2.
2-2, yeah. And it looks like Devin Williams might be warming up in the Milwaukee bullpen.
As it is. Mitch Garver has working on an 0-2 count so far. And now here's the pitch. And that is up and in, and that's a ball.
Yeah. Looks like the Yankees are up on the Blue Jays big today, 8-2.
Yankees looks like, I think they're off to a pretty good start.
Yeah. Royals are up over the White Sox 3-0.
Taking a look at the standings. Yep, Yankees are up 6-2 in that very heated division. That AL East division's always ugly.
Yeah.
Now here's the pitch. And that strike 3 called, and he knew it.
Arizona's up on Atlanta 8-2. Colorado and Tampa are tied at 1.
And it looks like Marlins are so bad they got swept by the Angels. But here's the thing, and put in perspective, Angels always have that weird good start of the year, and then their expiration date seems to be in around June.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, especially this season, it looks like they got off to a pretty good start. But that being said, you always have to question the Angels, starting rotation, and most importantly, their bullpen. That has seemed to be their bugaboo for the last decade.
It has been, and now we're looking at the 0-1 for Cal Raleigh. Here's the pitch, and now here's a fly ball popped up more like,
Yep.
And that's going to be caught, and that's 2 down.
2 down, yeah. Willie Adams.
We're looking at the number 7 guy. Looks like it's going to be Dylan Moore, and also for a statistics update, I'm at 92 views on this live show. Appreciate you guys being there, getting close to 100. Let's make it 7 in a row.
Absolutely. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, it is. Big milestone. Could be. And now we're looking at Dylan Moore with the 1-1. He's been very efficient today. And now here's the pitch. And that is up high for a ball. Dylan Moore has reached safely in his 5 straight plate appearances. So he has been one of the more effective players on the Mariners, especially started with that opening day home run. And now here's the 1-0. And that was a nice curve for a strike.
Yeah, it was a very, very good pitch. I'm actually kind of surprised that Dylan didn't try to put a swing on that one, because I mean it's right at the top of the zone, but it looked like he could have been able to get some extension on that one.
And the throw to first and gets back in time. Mike Trout hit a 3 for 3 with 3 home runs, stolen base, and Angels lose. It sounds like a typical Mike Trout game. And there was at one point a typical Ohtani and Mike Trout game as well. And now here's the 1-1, and that's a foul ball, because you saw a game where Ohtani and Mike Trout do huge numbers and the Angels lose.
Yeah. I'm a big Mike Trout guy. I'm happy to see him healthy and producing.
Let's hope he stays healthy, even though it may come at the cost against the Mariners. But even then, it's still sad to see his back pretty much just gone.
Well, it's also sad to see that the Angels have pretty much wasted his entire career.
And he did sign that contract knowing that it was a huge possibility that would happen, as a strikeout just did happen. We are going to the bottom of the 8th, but hey, Jorge Polanco hit that huge home run in the upper deck. And now we go to the inning. Going up.
Yeah, to me, that's the sign of a sad franchise. And at a certain point, you would probably think that Mike Trout wants to win. He wants to get it back into the playoffs, and I understand the reasoning why the Angels wouldn't do it. But at the same time, you have a guy that's been 100% loyal, to your franchise, has done a lot for you, as far as community work. And obviously fan outreach, but at a certain point, you actually have to do right by the player and put him in a position where he can get back to the postseason.
And who are we referring to? I lost the first.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout, yeah. Oh, Mike Trout. I think he's only made 1 playoff appearance in his career. It was in 2014 when the Mariners missed the playoffs by 1 game. And I think they won the division too. Oh, they did, because Oakland won the wild card at the skin of their teeth, only because Texas just stopped playing.
That's another thing that kind of grinds my gears a little bit is when you think of the last 15 years from 2010 on, even the Oakland A's have more playoff appearances than the Seattle Mariners.
Seattle Mariners by far.
Yeah, the Oakland A's that we're all very familiar with what's going on with the A's now. But even they have always figured out a way to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting what the next 3 seasons will be, which I find in some ways ironic, because Major League Baseball is allowing this to happen, knowing that they did not allow the Mariners to play in Tacoma, in a minor league stadium.
For sure. I still can't get over why we haven't heard anything from the Players Association. How are they allowing this to happen?
The only thing I hope is they I hope that stadium can hold up all the plumbing for all the demand that they're going to get, because don't forget, Sacramento fans, they'll show up. Like, they show up for their games.
Yeah,
and
they'll show out.
I've been there. I have family that live there. And now here's a line drive, and that's a base hit. And now it's Austin Voth, who is in the 8th inning, which this is what we talked about. There was a debate on whether should Bryce Miller pitch, and even before that pitch, I was like, maybe one more inning just to see how he can do. But
well, his pitch count was still in the margin of error, and I don't have a problem with him coming out to start the 8th inning.
I thought the numbers really backed it up for him to still play. Here is Jackson,
for sure, batting
9th in the order. Now here's the pitch, swing and a miss, strike one.
The thing with, I tend to agree with you about Sacramento. Even if it is short term, regardless of the product on the field, and I would probably assume that John Fisher is not going to put a decent product on the field. That AAA park out there in Sacramento, I think it seats like what, 10,000.
10,000. They're going to try to find, I think they're going to change that grassy area to the seats then. And now we're looking at the 1-1 count for Jackson. And here's the pitch. Now here's a fly ball to deep left field. Forget about that one. That is gone. And now the lead is cut to 2. And just like that, this is a brand new ball game. And this is what we were talking about. We were thinking, like, again, before this home run, we were thinking, maybe give Bryce Miller just one more. And now we know the result, unfortunately.
And now you're going to have to think about getting up Gabe Spire at this point. At least get him getting up warming in the pen. But the other question is, now that the lead has been cut in half and now we're in a safe situation, do we see Andres Munoz again?
Ooh.
In the 9th.
And even the comments of us are backing it up. Reflect the Sun says, pull their dominant starter.
Yeah.
Taking 78 pitches too. And if they lose this game, that's something that should be a topic. And now here's Sal, here's the pitch, and that's a ball, 1-1.
And we heard before the season started that both Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, obviously he's not healthy right now. There's no innings restrictions at all. And you're in a position where, you're at 78 pitches.
78 pitches.
You're still within that margin you're still within that 20 pitch margin right there before you get to the 100. And again, why, he's been effective up to this point. And I understand the whole third time through the order type of thing. But if you have a pitcher that has consistently getting outs, why not at least have him start the 8th? If he gets the first out, or if he gives up the base hit as it was, that's one thing. But to not
and it was also in the bottom of the inning too, the bottom of the batting order too.
Correct. It made absolutely no sense to bring in Austin Voth at this point.
Here's the pitch, and that's a strike. And there's the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And if the Mariners lose, I think Twitter is going to be twice as ugly. So if you're a Mariners fan, stay away from Twitter for your own safety.
Mariners Twitter.
Here's the old one.
Mariners strike Twitter might implode.
I think it might break the internet. I think it might actually cause Twitter to crash. Who knows? We're looking at an 0-2 for William Contreras. Thankfully got one out. And here's the pitch. And that is low for a ball. And Austin Voth, yes, he has 2 strikes, but looks like he's having a tough time finding that strike zone at the moment.
Yeah, and it's the slider. It's that little sweeper there that didn't even get any portion of the plate. Didn't induce a swing.
1-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? Of course not.
Nope.
Not even close. Outside. And now we're looking at a 2-2. And William Contreras is 2 for 3. And we're looking at a 2-2.
Yep. And in the bullpen, there's Gabe Spire.
Now here's the 2-2 pitch. And that is a foul ball. And everyone's saying Emancipacation, also one of my other fans, made 0 sense to remove him. Mm-hmm. But also said Scott Service for Manager of the Year. He was nominated twice. And I actually did question both of the nominations. And I remember at the time they should have gave the manager of the year in 22 to Brandon. I forgot his name for the Orioles. Here's the 2-2 pitch, just misses, and that's a ball 3.
Ball 3.
Flick of the switch. I know, but you always love doing that too. So I'm used to you at this point. Now we're looking at a 3-2 for William Contreras, and now here's the pitch. And he misses the strike zone, and now we got a man on first base. We've got at least the man to make it a one-run game on first base.
Yep, and here comes service. That's going to be it for both.
He has seen enough, and some may say he was in there too long, and now, he points the finger out, and that's going to bring in Gabe Spire for that matchup against Christian Yelich.
And you're in a situation where you have the winning run at the plate. You can't mess around at this point. Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at the Twitter right here, someone said East Coast Mariners, the other YouTuber, which you should also check out. Bryce Miller was at 78 pitches and wasn't even completely through the order 3 times. Why are we taking him out in the first place? Yup. This other guy says pull Bryce at 77 pitches, 78, and Jackson cut the lead in half. Basically, was just explaining it. And there's the WTF. Why would you take Bryce out? Bryce is the guy, how I'm feeling. Well, yeah, that was before. I mean, at least these are the ones I agree with. So I don't think I have the ones that I disagree. But then again, maybe the disagreeers got rid of me anyway. So I can't see anything because they don't want me to see what they're saying.
I'm telling you, man, you got worked up a little bit over that. I saw your tweet.
The Locked On?
The one to Locked On that eventually got you blocked. And I was thinking to myself, I don't understand the reasoning behind blocking you at that point, because it wasn't, earlier in his tweet thread, he was saying something about how a lot of users and a lot of followers were using disparaging remarks and maybe even some racial remarks towards certain players. I can understand that as a reason to get blocked. But I mean, your tweet was not personal at all. It was just opinion. And I'm how do you block somebody for that?
And there's the thing, like, I was actually asking him, like, hey, can you show me those tweets? I want to see them. And he never put it out. And then, but hey, it's what it is.
Yeah. But I mean, you have to have a grand sense of entitlement to not only just disparage somebody's opinion, but then turn around and block them for having an opinion.
And on top of that, his actual Locked On page did it too. And I heard that he does it to a lot of others as well. And some of our fans have brought it up. And we got Gabe Spire, the man who should have pitched last night. Yeah. I guess got service saved him for this specific moment.
Yeah, lefty on lefty, dangerous hitter in Christian Yelich.
Very dangerous. We're hoping that the lefty really does make the difference. Maybe I should look at those numbers. And now here's the pitch, and that is up high, and that is a ball.
Yeah, that fastball is.
I'm gonna speed search that and see what his numbers are against the lefties in his entire career. And now we're looking at the 1-0. Here's the pitch, and this is the strike zone. Yeah. And versus lefties, he's a 271 hitter with 11 or 46 home runs. I know that's this throughout his entire career, but he's a 271 hitter overall. So he can still do damage. And now here's the 2-0. And he misses the strike zone again, 3-0. Yeah.
And, Cal Raleigh doing his best to try to frame some of these pitches.
He's really desperate about it. Cannot blame him. We're going to Yelich into the TV if it goes deep. I love it. And now here is the 3-0 pitch. And he misses it, ball 4. At that point, you might as well just intentionally walk him.
This is not happening again. This is not happening again. This is not happening
again. I got to tweet that, though. Not
but,
again.
But you know what, though? It may have been the wrong decision to bring in Voth, but in the situation where you're lefty on lefty, it made perfect sense to bring Spire.
That was fine. It's just that Spire just didn't do the job.
Yeah.
He just missed some strike zone. And now we got Willie Adams The good news about this, the only positive thing is we do have one out, so you can get a double play out of it.
Absolutely.
Here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball. And Cal Raleigh has seen enough. He's like, he's got to talk him. He's got to talk to him and get him going.
Yeah, here comes Woodward just to calm him down a little bit. The thing I like about Spire is, his slider in on righties does induce ground balls, so it's not out of the realm of possibility to think they can turn to him at this point and get out.
He really got to. If only their version of Ty France is up, then I would feel a lot better. But if it makes anyone feel better, I just broke 100 views again for the 7th live streaming in a row, and there'll be much more to come.
And if it makes you feel any better, if you go to SeatGeek right now, you can get $20 off your purchase. So I'm telling you,
save that $20 for that food in Chinatown, right across the street from T-Mobile. Not exactly right across the street, but close. Or get any of that food in the concession. And now here's the 1-0. Just don't get the hot dog from the Pirates game. Just don't get that.
You got to get those spiked seltzers, man. I'm telling you what, those are delicious.
No, get the grasshoppers. Mix them with your chicken wings. It actually works pretty decent.
Yeah.
And now here's the 2-0. And he misses the strike zone again. It's a 3-0 count to Willie Adams. I'm looking forward to that. If we lose, I will have a reaction to that interview. It's like, why'd you pull out Miller? Actually, they won't even ask him anyway. Here's the pitch. Strike one.
There you go.
It's like the media is not going to ask that question. They won't, because the media works for the Mariners, basically. I mean, 710 ESPN is basically somewhat owned by the Mariners. Here's the 3-1.
Well, they're the
and ball 4, take your base.
Base is loaded again.
And this is where things really get out of control.
And this has to be a situation where Gabe just has to take a deep breath. I understand the moment is big, but he's been here before. And you can't worry about the runners on base right now. You have to attack Rhys Hoskins right here.
You got to go right after him.
Yeah.
And a lot of the comments, I can't blame you guys. Keep them coming. I want to see this. Let's do it like rapid fire style, especially with this game going on. You have every reason to type those in. And also, if you can make me feel better, hit the donation button too. Anyways, here is Gabe Spire, and here is the pitch. And here is a fly ball. That should get in a run, but you're going to get the out. And tagging at third, and here is the throw by Luke Raley. I mean, you didn't really expect him to make a throw like that, I mean, unless you're Bo Jackson.
Right, but that was absolutely a huge out. He had fastball in the inner half, and he got him to to fly out. So huge out there for Gabe Spire. Yes, it cost you a run, but it's not a 2-run double. So.
Oof.
Looks like the Brewers are gonna, go to their bench again, and it looks like Ortiz is now coming up.
It looks like so. Is this was the other guy a lefty?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, Joey
Possibly,
Ortiz.
Yeah.
He's looks like he's batting 273 on the year. It looks like 3 for 11, a double, an RBI, a walk, 2 Ks, and it looks like now Service is coming out again.
Oh no, they're doing. He's gonna bring in that righty somewhere. I wonder if it's gonna be Stanek. Wonder who it is. And Service has already burned 3 pitchers.
It looks like is that Cody Bolton?
That could be. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I'm not really putting so much of it on. I don't want to put so much of it on Gabe. It was just a very weird situation to get into. Now, granted, he did get an out of it at least.
Right.
Emancipatation says Hancock may not pitch a lot tomorrow, and we're wasting our bullpen. Yeah, because Hancock doesn't really have much of that longevity.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. And again, you're absolutely right. Spire came in with a runner on. Now, granted, he wasn't sharp, but yet he issued 2 walks, 1 run does come in, but this whole inning could have been avoided. And this is, this again gets back to questionable decisions in games where you probably should not have given up the 2 runs. I mean, that that 2-run shot probably shouldn't have happened.
Especially if Miller was just facing the bottom, the bottom half,
the bottom half. Yeah.
Now, if you took him out, then when he gave up a hit or two, okay, fine.
Right. You let him start the 8th inning, and if he ultimately gives up the leadoff single, fair enough. But you know what, though, the way that Miller was throwing, the way that Miller was locating, chances are pretty good he probably would have got the first out of the inning.
Probably could have, and because they just weren't hitting anything off of him. And it just goes to psychology. Like when I play baseball, like when there was a pitcher that dominated and they brought it and then they took him out because little leaguers, everyone plays. That's where I go, thank God he's not pitching. So that's how I see it.
But also the notion that you don't want to overuse him, early in the season, and you want to save some of those innings for the middle of the year. It's absolute. It's ridiculous. The thinking, the new age thinking when it comes to starting pitchers. Sometimes it literally makes no sense to me at all.
And it comes at the cost of the bullpen because we saw a lot of injuries last year, and that's something I don't think that gets enough attention. And now here is Trent Thornton, the home run specialist. Unfortunately, that's a strike, and that missed the strike zone, but the umpire gave it anyway.
Yeah. Well, good. Good way to work ahead in this count.
Let's make sure we just get this guy. And looks like, and for the top of the 9th, insurance runs are absolutely going to be needed, considering how Munoz was pitching last night. Granted, it was a different situation for him, but we still want those insurance runs. And now here's the 0-1, and that is outside for a ball.
If they get out of this inning, it's going to be interesting to see who they're gonna have come in to try to close this game out.
Someone stress eating currently. I don't blame you. That's why I ate before this game. And now here's the 1-1. And now here's a ground ball. It could be a tough play. Throw to second, and it's in time. Mariners get out of the inning, but it came at the cost of 3 runs given up. We go to the top of the 9th, and because of that, I need literally a breather. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code ROOFTOPSPORTS to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Yep. Take advantage of that. Save your $20 for your Cubs Mariners game. What did Munoz do yesterday? I'm sure you know Dirty Baseball.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, for the commenter who was talking about stress eating, my only question to you is, what are you stress eating? Are you eating fries, chicken wings, pizza? Give us the lowdown. What are you stress eating?
Because I'm pretty sure it's not vegetables and fruit. That I know for sure. Because nobody stress eats on fruit.
I don't think you have a lot of vegan listeners.
Nah. And no offense to them, but I actually did live this quote vegan lifestyle. It was horrible. It was weird.
Yeah.
I need meat.
I've known 2 vegans in my lifetime, and they started off all hardcore, but after like a year of being a vegan, they were absolutely miserable to be around because they were constantly hungry.
And cranky. They gotta be cranky because without that legitimate protein, because meat and chicken does well. They do magic.
Oh yeah. No, for sure.
That's what stress eat noodles. I would stress eat fried chicken. Yeah. 100% fried chicken.
Oh, I mean, if we're talking like ramen noodles, 100%. I can get down with that all day long.
Korean ones, or do you eat the cup noodles or top ramen?
All of the above.
Good. At least eat the Korean ones are good, and they give you better value. And the spice.
The only problem about being out here in Michigan, there's no good pho places out here. I can get down. That's one of the things that I miss about being in Washington is there's amazing pho places out there.
So much Asian food in Washington, and it's still growing. And now I think this is Luis Urias, and that is way outside for a ball. Even with And now we got Luis Urias. He's working on a 1-1. And now here's the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to left field. And that is gone. Luis Urias hits a home run, his first home run of the season, and that puts the Mariners up 5-3. And we were talking about that need of insurance runs, and Luis Urias, he answers it, and he gives that huge high five to Manny Acta, gives that sign of the cross, and it's 5-3.
And there's the trident, the first trident of the year for Luis Urias. That was absolutely brilliant. Fastball down right at the knees, gets out in front of it and just yanks it. That was,
and it's only fitting that his first home run of the season comes against his former team.
And now we
both Luis Urias and Polanco with home runs. So let's keep it going. Nice to make up for with that insurance. Here is the pitch to Raley, and that is a strike. And we need more than just runs.
Let's see if Raley can get on this action. It'd be nice to see him get going.
And we're looking at the 1-1. And now here's a line drive right, and that was caught. And that's going to be one down.
Yeah, that was, your call on that line drive was fantastic, by the way. It was almost reminiscent of Major League 2, where the guy was like, fly ball to left.
Caught. Hey, take over. I'm in the bag.
Me?
Here's the pitch, and that is a foul ball. The most ironic thing of that movie was it was in Oriole Park in Camden Yards in Baltimore. And then right next year, a Cleveland team moves to Baltimore. So technically, a Cleveland team moved to Baltimore twice. And here's the pitch. And here's a pop-up right to the shortstop. He is there. He makes the catch.
Yeah, that was, at least in Major League One, you can kind of get away with County Stadium because it kind of looked like Cleveland Municipal Stadium a little bit, kind of. But then, in Major League Two, obviously you're playing in Baltimore, and it's, it was kind of hard to watch that movie knowing that, that's, you can't sell Cleveland.
And they had a clip where the Orioles were quote on the road in Baltimore. And I think that was that pop-up by Willie Mays Hayes where he goes, I got it.
The best part of Major League Two was Hiroshi Kamikaze Tanaka. That was the best part of Major League Two.
You have no marbles. Marbles? Marbles. You have no marbles.
Huevos. That's what. But I didn't sell him outright. I got you an outfielder. He used to play the Giants. Brant. Those Giants.
Yosha! Crashes in the wall and still doesn't make the catch.
Yeah.
Pops out of his glove.
Right.
But he was a huge part of that movie. Because without that movie, it would have been a really lame copy and paste movie.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And it already was a lame copy paste. But you know what? I'll say this. The underrated movie of that series was the third one. As ridiculous as Back to the Minors was, it was 100% better than Major League Two.
I gotta watch that movie because, and I think more and more, I would think more people are gonna watch it because I think that more people are getting into minor league baseball these days. I mean, it helps when you have social media, like just exposing a lot of things. But when I go to a minor league baseball game, I actually enjoy it a lot more than a Mariners game. And it's a lot easier to get there. Yeah. Mariners game's like a lot of planning, gotta know where to park.
There's a lot of, I agree with you.
It's a lot more work than watching. And
I've always had a great time at Everett Memorial Stadium watching the Aqua Sox. It's a great minor league baseball atmosphere. Same goes down in Tacoma. Very easily accessible, very affordable. Whereas you're trying to go to a Mariner game with your wife or your girlfriend, and all of a sudden you're spending $400 for two people. You go to an Aqua Sox game and you're probably spending like maybe 100, 150 at the most. Maybe. Yeah.
And there's like some small businesses across the street that'll go even cheaper and you get more out of it. And now here's Julio, and that is a strike. Yeah, I tied last year with minor league and Mariners games. I think it was like 3-2, but in terms of just T-Mobile alone, it was tied 2-2 between that and minor league baseball games. And now we're looking at the 0-1 pitch, and that is a foul ball.
Just to fill in, Munoz is up in the bullpen. Munoz will work the ninth.
Just don't give me that Jose Mesa, Munoz. Don't do it.
Yeah, the best part about going to the Aqua Sox game is, I don't know if it's still there, but across the street there was a Buzzin' Steakhouse, like literally right across the street from Everett Memorial Stadium. And so it's a very good, logistically, it's very good to pre-funk before that game. You know what I mean?
Is it still there? If you know,
I haven't been.
I'll have to double check
in the Everett area in 3 years now, but I think the last time I was at an Aqua Sox game was about 5 years ago. And that Buzzin' Steakhouse was right across the street. My ex-wife and I, did the little pre-funk before going into the stadium. Fantastic.
I'm gonna look it up. Buzz's Steakhouse. And now we're looking at the 2-2. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And we are going into the bottom of the 9th inning. And considering that Munoz is pitching, I need another breather. Let's do this. Let's find that commercial. There.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We're proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
And give that guy a call, 206-992-4465. 206-992-4465. Use the promo code Modern Rooftop to get some work done in your house. And I did take a look at the restaurant's called Buzzin' Steakhouse. It's about 2-minute drive, probably like a 10-minute walk. Now I know a place to go when I go to an Everett game. But I'm holding out until Lazaro Montez, Johnny Farmello, Cole Emerson are called up, because Everett didn't give me anything to take him to go to an opening day. I was planning on it. It was going to be Tuesday. I was like, Lazaro's up. He's going to be there. Nope, he's not there.
I was going to give away my parking secret for the Mariners, because and it's been my tried and true for 10 and a half years now. My Soto parkings and pre-funk secrets, but I think I'm gonna hold on to that one. There's only one other person that knows my parking secret and pre-funk secret, and that's
if you tell the secret, then it's no longer a secret.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But I mean, I don't want people to crash. I don't want people to all of a sudden just make that their spot. You know what I mean? That's a tried and true. I can't do it.
Yeah, you really shouldn't. And here's the pitch. Sometimes I'm hesitant to give my traffic avoidance advice, because if I tell someone, they're going to tell everyone else, and then traffic's going to get screwed up. And now we got Munoz, who's already missed a strike. It's a now 1-0. And now here's the pitch. And he's not calmed down. That's going to be ball 2. And looks like we're already feeling it. We're feeling the Jose Mesa feels. And I wonder what the Mariners Twitter is going to say about this, depending on the result. Here's a 2-0.
You can overlook the mistake of not letting Miller go out for the 8th. As long as Munoz locks this down, I think we can overlook that move. As long as
we got a ground ball to JP Crawford to throw to first, and it's in time.
There you go, and that's huge. Getting the first out of the inning, absolutely huge.
We absolutely needed that. And also, last minute requests. If you would like to help support this channel, donate it through that QR code, or you can go to, there's that donating button. If you're subscribed, it will help grow this channel. And now here's the pitch. And that is a foul ball. This is Bryce Terang. We are now at the bottom of the order. So now that it's the bottom of the order, I feel a little bit better about that.
And, he's Started off 0-1.
That's a good start right there.
Very good start.
Batting .364 this season. And here's the pitch. And that is a strike. That was actually my exact batting average when I was in 5th grade in baseball Little League for the Giants.
Oh, look at that. Fantastic.
We're looking at an 0-2 count, and here it is. Oh, and that just a little bit outside. And now we're looking at a 1-2. And now here's the pitch. And here's a ground ball right to Dylan Moore. Go to the first, and it's in time. And we got 1 out away. How much is 1 out, really? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about 1 outs, but we've got 1 out.
Now you have Cheerio who hit the 2-run bomb.
He hit the bomb, and good thing Urias hit that home run just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a little Safeco insurance right there.
Yeah. Emancipacation says if I cover all the games, it's now 7 of 9. Here's the pitch, and that is a strike. Those part of my A+ chat game, huh? And we're looking at 0-1. He's 1 for 3 with a home run, two-run homer. Here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball. 1-1 the count. Munoz has been pitching just a little bit better. Granted, he was given some grounders, but we'll more than take that.
Absolutely.
And we're looking at a 1-1, given that Jose Mesa kind of stance. And here is the 1-1, and he misses it for a ball. And Cal Raleigh's like, yep, I'm throwing that one away.
Jose Mesa really messed with you, didn't he? When you were a kid, yeah, he really messed with you.
2000, the 2000 season really messed me up.
You know, he was actually never the same after that, after blowing Game 7 of the 97 series.
No, that was it.
He was never the same.
I lost his job. And I looked at his stats in the American League Championship Series in 2000. He was used quite a bit.
Yep.
And that's play. And here's the 2-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. And the ball game is over. The Seattle Mariners finally get a win after losing 3 in a row. And this time, the series is tied at 1 game apiece, 5-3. Good hitting in the early games.
Yep.
And then Polanco with the home run, and also a home run by Luis Urias.
Yep.
And most importantly, a fantastic outing by Bryce Miller. He is obviously going to get the win. And he had 7 strikeouts and just 1 walk, 3 hits. Absolutely efficient. And we might as well just start this post-game show and take me your thoughts on how this game went overall.
Well, you know, you said it. I mean, Bryce Miller was the one that set the tone. 7 strong innings. You know, being a fastball first pitcher, he was able to mix nicely. Never gave the Brewers the opportunity to get extended. So that's the first thing you have to point off to. But the other thing was the Mariner offense piggybacking off what they built last night, and they took it into today's ball game. They shook off the Munoz debacle from last night, and they were able to show some resiliency. But it's not just the early 3 runs, although that was fantastic. But it's nice seeing Jorge Polanco being getting on the board with his first home run of the year, but also deep into the order you had Luis Urias, who added that monster home run right there in the top of the 9th inning for a nice little insurance run. This is what you like to see if you're a Mariners fan, because yes, we've talked ad nauseum about that first opening homestand, but now you're starting to see this offense, I wouldn't say fully click, but you're able to see them put back-to-back games where they're scoring at least 5 runs and giving themselves a very good opportunity to win.
It was an absolutely great game, and we can say that the effort was much more there than it. I mean, the effort was always there, but we saw a little bit more of a click on that offense. Not that it's there yet, but I mean, we saw big hits like out of Polanco and Urias, who are also the acquisitions of the 24 season. It was great. And Bryce Miller, and he actually mixed up his pitches a little bit. Like, it was more than just the heaters, which I was getting a little bit nervous at the start where he was pitching all heaters, mostly in the first. And then since then, he really did mix them up. And he only gave up 3 hits. And those hits he got out of, I mean, he got them off pretty smoothly too.
Well, I mean, but look at this lineup from top to bottom. J.P. Crawford checked in with a hit today. Julio had 2. Polanco was 1 for 4, obviously the home run. Haniger checked in with a 2 for 3 game today, and even Garver checked in with a hit. So you're talking about the top 5 guys in your, five guys in your lineup all checking in with hits tonight. And then, of course, in the lower half, Dylan Moore had a phenomenal game today. 1 for 2, drew 2 walks, had a stolen base. He did his job tonight. And then, Luis Urias and Samad Taylor also checking in with hits today too. So really the only guy the only regular in the lineup who wasn't able to check in with a hit today was Cal Raleigh. So from top to bottom, to walk away with to walk away with a game where you score 5 runs on 10 hits, you can't ask for anything better.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only thing we could have asked was just for that better bottom of the 8th inning where. Yeah. And I know it's easy to say it, to forget about it, to easily forget about it, but it still should be pointed out that unfortunately, I mean, everyone says it. Like I looked at the Twitters and I even looked at the people that don't agree with me. Even they said, no, Bryce Miller should have stayed in the game just to get a feel for it. And like you said, if he gave up a hit, okay, fine. Even though maybe I would have still kept him in there the entire time anyway.
Sure.
But it's baseball, I guess. But I mean, I don't really blame Voth and Spire too much. I mean, granted, Spire did get an out of it. And I think even Voth got an out. But it's one of those things that you maybe don't want to look at it now, which I am. But when you look at later in the game, that's where you want to assess those decisions. And that's where it would get more critical. Like in April, it's easier to do that. But then once you get closer to September and then maybe October, if you even get to that level, that's where you want to pay attention to those moves. And that's something that,
you said it. I think you highlighted it perfectly. There is no day off between the series ender, tomorrow in Milwaukee and then going to Toronto. So you don't have that luxury of having that day off where if you have a starting pitcher who has done his job and has reserved his pitches to put himself in a position to go deep in the game, then you let him go deep into the game. According to service, there is no innings restriction. So what was the reason of taking him out? Because you're afraid that you're afraid that he potentially might get to the top of the order. But I mean, up to that point, Miller was cruising. There is at least from my perspective, there's no tangible reason why you shouldn't have let him go out to start the 8th inning.
And also, it's also considering that Emerson Hancock doesn't really pitch as much. And we saw last year that he did go down, unfortunately, pretty easily. So unfortunately, he just doesn't, with that longevity that he may not have. That's why I wanted to have more of the bullpen saved, especially when Bryce Miller was already dominating. So that way you could have more cushion for Emerson Hancock, because it is still way too early to see how he's going to do for this season. But I at least would have liked to see the at least some kind of cushion for Emerson Hancock and that kind of protection. But now you're down to pretty much half of your bullpen unless any of them are still able to pitch the next day. Because
I would assume that Cody Bolton will be available tomorrow. Stanek will be available for tomorrow.
The Sauce,
Saucedo is going to be available. So you got options. I think for me the best case scenario is if Emerson goes out there and gives you 6 strong. You know what I mean? That's best case scenario to a point where he's if he gives up a run or 2, great. But going 6 strong, 3 or less runs, I think that would be a win-win for this team. But I happen to agree with you. I mean, that was a very questionable call. And putting yourself a little bit behind the 8 ball when it comes to your bullpen usage, when you absolutely didn't have to use both tonight. That's the call right there, where if you don't have to use an arm, why put yourself in a position where you're burning arms for no reason at all when you have a starter who is very much capable of going out there and performing in the 8th.
Absolute dominant fashion, of course, as well. And hopefully, and let's take a look at for the next game, where the Mariners will be closing the series against Milwaukee, of course. Let's take a look and see who that pitcher is going to be. It's going to be Emerson Hancock against, let's take a look at Colin Ree. He is 1-0 with a 1.80 ERA. It was his first start, so we'll see where that goes. And let's take a look at Emerson Hancock, where I would say, and I actually did meet Emerson Hancock the day after the game at my day job, and I told him exactly this, like, your performance was better than the number stated, in my opinion, which he gave up 4 hits, gave up the 3 earned runs, but most of those runs were given up just to very bizarre situations. It was that botched call with a swing and miss that led Dylan Moore to get thrown out, and then Julio Rodriguez unfortunately mistimed a potential robbing home run. But aside from that, I thought he pitched very well, and hopefully he can at least go somewhat deep if he can pitch any better. But last game only pitched 5 in a 1 inning, so that is exactly where I wish we would have more of our bullpen. But we don't know. We'll see where he goes. Maybe he'll show something that we don't know.
Colin Ree in his first start against the New York Mets, he goes 5, gives up 1 run on 5 hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Pretty much effective of what what Milwaukee was asking of them. But this is going to be an interesting matchup because tomorrow, Ree, his primary pitch is going to be his sinker, which tops out at 93. He throws it 30% of the time, and then he mixes in a cutter. Throws it 26% of the time, and then it's the 4-seam fastball, which is at 19% of the time. So he is going to be a sinker cutter guy. And as we saw in the Boston series and a little bit in the Cleveland series, the Mariners at this point haven't necessarily done a great job against the cutter and the sinker. Not saying that they can't do it, but it's going to be a vast difference between what we saw with Peralta, and then tonight with Hall. So it's going to be. I think it's actually going to be a nice test for the Mariners tomorrow.
It's something that they will certainly need to see if they can provide that run support for Emerson Hancock. In the last 2 games, offense has actually stepped up more than what we're expecting of him, more than how people are talking about it, and hopefully they can score at least 5 runs again to give Emerson Hancock the run support that he needs, considering that this is I'm pretty sure this is like his 3rd or 4th major league start of his career. So let's just hope it happens.
Emerson, is also coming off, excuse me. He's coming off a pretty decent start. He went 5 1/3 his last outing, gave up 3 runs on 4 hits, still gave him a very good opportunity to win that game, which they ended up doing. So, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. I like Emerson. I think Emerson's got better stuff than Brian Wu. Now both, of course, have the injury concerns, but that being said, it looks like if of all the guys that in that rotation that came fired up ready to start the season, he was definitely one of them. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes after this Milwaukee lineup. Again, just like Bryce Miller, he's fastball dominated, but the thing that I like about Emerson is that he's got a pretty good slider, which he actually can get over for strikes. He does mix in a sinker and a change. So he does have the secondary pitches that I feel, at least, that are refined in order to get outs at the major league level. For me, the whole thing about Emerson Hancock is how he gets through that first inning.
Yeah, let's find out, and we are to find out tomorrow about how that game will go. And as of now, I'm looking to cover that game tomorrow. I believe the game is going to be at around 11 o'clock. So I'll keep you guys updated if I do this game for the third consecutive day. So we'll stay updated and see where we're at for tomorrow. But hopefully I'll be there. So that's going to do it for the post-game portion, as I will be cutting it up and posting it out. Now let's take a look at the comments, and I got to take a note and make sure that I got that. Got that?
Ooh, yeah. Let's get to some comments.
Let's get to those comments. And there was quite a bit of them. And Well, first, this guy said goodbye. Yeah, I'm sure he's gone by now. Should I have Shannon Dreyer join the show?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
Shannon's a great gal. I like Shannon.
Yeah, but she doesn't like my takes.
Yeah. Well, that's okay, though.
I mean, it's tough to get those actual like media personalities to get on the show. Unfortunately, I gotten Jeff Facero on the show before, and I have a full video on that. And I did pick his brain on his 97 playoff performance more than anything else. And let's see, that's next. Our very fine Mitches with 3 hits combined. Absolutely. Dubs. Oh, well, Fredo says, listen, it happened. Let it go.
Let it go.
Well, the thing is, like, we still got to talk about the positives and the negatives. Like, we got to address all of it. So, but yeah, they got the win, but let's hope that on 78 pitches, still let him pitch.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're absolutely right. I mean, it's a win, let it go. But that being said, there is, as far as I'm concerned, that even in wins, there's still things that you can do to get better and put yourself in a better position for the next day. Little things like these type of decisions that you can clean up, right? Because when you want to see wins, you want to see from essentially a perfect game from the first to the 9th inning, where you're not having questionable decisions that could lead to losses. And as we've seen, the Mariners do have an MO of letting go of games that they probably should have won.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, 2022, they were able to get away with many, at least until the Houston series. So, and they have been struggling with those high leverage situations for quite a bit, going back into 23. So that's why we talk about it, because we don't want to just leave things under the rug. Like, we want to talk about everything. And we did. We talked about how great the offense was, how aggressive they were, how great Bryce Miller was. But at the same time, there's like, hey, but let's fix this. So, and plus Service, he's been manager for 9 years. I would think he's got to fix something by then.
Right.
And this team is so mid right now. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, we don't know. It's like a box of chocolates. We don't know what we're going to get out of this team. Here we go. Yep, they won. Yeah, 7 strikeouts. You're right about that. We do have to play the Blue Jays after that. That is true. But hopefully they can take care of business tomorrow. And I think that's pretty much everyone. Everyone's pretty much out for the day. So I think we're going to cut it right here. But thank you very much for being part of this show. This is my 7th show out of 9 Mariners games. So far I'm at a C rating or got pretty much majority of the games, hoping for number 8 tomorrow. And Steve, once again, thank you for being on the show, providing your excellent color commentating.
Absolutely. So it's always a pleasure, man.
Yeah. And by the way, I just want to let you know, he's also building a YouTube channel. So we're looking forward to that future. So
absolutely. Swinging for the Fences airs pretty much every Tuesday, 4:00 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And in the future, I'm looking to add a second show later in the week. So definitely stay tuned for that. You can always check it out on the YouTube channel, or if if you're more Twitter centric, you can always check it on the Twitter profile at Swinging Pod.
Which, by the way, I'm going to find that. I'm going to post the link so everyone can see, because we still got YouTube content creators that are on the rise out there. We got a lot of them. Like, we got Mariners Mojo, we've got Couch GM, got myself, Marine Layer Podcast. Why not get some more out of there? East Coast M's, even I've got to know him pretty well. And now let's get Steve on board, and let's build this Mariners community, which is really fun to do.
Absolutely. I think the great thing with all this content, all these content creators, is, obviously the multiple opinions, but it also galvanizes. I also think this galvanizes the fan base in a way that we didn't necessarily have before. Because I mean, if you remember, for many years, it was generally just radio media, or if it was print media, whoever the beat writers were, and there wasn't necessarily a way to get the fans involved. And now that we've been in the social media era for a while now, it's always nice to see the next wave of Mariner fans Of course, you still have the old guard like me, but it's nice to see the young generation that gets to come online, that we've seen over the last 15 years, and see them grow into their Mariner fandom. It's always nice to see.
And it's also refreshing to know a Mariners fan from the Gen X that knows a lot of the stuff that I know very well. And
for sure.
I also have a future of exposing more Mariners history to come. So we'll see about that. And other thing too is there were so many years, the reason why I started this channel, of like, there were times where I was like, I can do better than Dave Sims, or I want to express the Mariners the way I want to. And for the whole Dave Sims thing, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is, and to prove that I have a voice, a play-by-play voice for the Seattle Mariners. And
well, I like this format. I like the fact that you're doing the play-by-play, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know what I mean? Of course you appreciate guys like Dave Sims and Aaron Goldsmith and Rick Riz and the job that they've done for years. But it's always nice having that other take. That's what I appreciate about this.
Yeah, it's an opportunity that we can have our unique takes, because as great as those guys are, especially Goldsmith, who I took some time to get used to, and of course Rick Riz, who I grew into, they have to go through a script. Like they can say this, they can't say this. And but us, I mean, as long as we're not upsetting YouTube, we can express how we like to say that maybe that they don't express.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest reason why I have been doing radio for years now is because I like to consider myself the anti-root sports, because what you get from the team is always spin, it's always puff, and especially when you have a voice like Root Sports, who will never ever 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 take this team to task. It's always puff, and for once, I just want somebody to call it like it is, and that's what Swanee and I do. We literally just call it like it is. If a player is not performing up to his expectations, we have no problem calling him out. Same thing with Scott Service. They should be held under a microscope, because again, this franchise, 48 years of existence and only 5 playoff appearances, which is 100% unacceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we had Jerry or Scott in like New York or Boston, honestly, I don't think they would have lasted a minute in that kind of environment.
Well, it's a vast difference between coast to coast media, because you mentioned towns like New York, towns like Boston, the expectation is winning. And so the local media in those towns do hold their feet to the fire. But of course, the Seattle Mariners are a franchise that will never accept bad press. It's against their against their philosophy. And if you remember, there were instances where B writers had their credentials pulled because they had the audacity of calling it like it is in their column. And I mean, it just goes to show you that how sensitive they are. And so, the more content creators are out there that have the wherewithal to use their platform to say, hey, listen, it's not that we're not fans. It's just, we're tired of the excuses. You can't sell it that way anymore. It's you're either going to put a product on the field that's going to win championships, or you're not. And if you're not, that's fine. At least have the honesty to tell your fan base that you're in it for those reasons.
Yeah, exactly. And we even saw Mariners players get canceled for saying as is. Lou Piniella, he pretty much got kicked out of town because, and that whole trade, and they covered it up with like, oh, he just wanted to be with his father, just wanted to stay home.
No, he was sick of he had a championship team, and he was sick of ownership not making those final moves to put the final pieces together to try to go win a championship. And if you remember, Jeff Nelson got traded in 2002 because he had 2003, excuse me, because he spoke up after the trading deadline, because the Mariners again for the third straight year did nothing at the trading deadline, and his punishment was being traded back to the Yankees, which was good for him, but we got saddled with Armando Benitez.
Benitez, yeah.
So and then Paul Sewald last year. Now, those comments were not made public, but the word was that he was complaining internally and Seawald ends up getting traded. It was a head scratching move. It's interesting that Cal Raleigh, can
he got away with it.
He can take the club to task, and same with JP Crawford, and yet they're still around. So
they lucked out because I mean they're much bigger names, but there was a point where I was like, well, I mean, I guess John Stanton said, hey, you better apologize because
for sure.
Because Cal Raleigh apologized like the very next morning. And then, of course, you saw Stanton backtracking going, oh, yeah, I had a talk with him. I feel his pain. I was like, uh-huh. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And the crazy thing was that now here's the one thing that I always tell Mariner fans. It's if you look at the payroll situation from 2000 to 2003, payroll did go up $85 million, right? But it was always in that area where they were never even going to be middle of the road. It was strategic spending to a point, but it was never going to be upper echelon where it moves them into the top 10 in spending. The Mariners have never gone over the $165 million threshold when it comes to team payroll. And so when you listen to John Stanton talk about, wanting to be aggressive, and it's like, dude, you just used Root Sports as a reason for you not wanting to spend again. And the crazy thing about it is you can't forecast and you can't predict the future. You can't predict whether Root Sports going onto another platform is going to affect your bottom line, because at the end of the day, if the Mariners are competitive, do you know what's going to happen? Fans are still going to watch Root Sports.
Yeah, I know. And the crazy thing too is, ironically, the Blazers are actually considering to get out of Root Sports. So all that stuff isn't really aging very well, but we are going to end this show. We got to get going, but hey, thank you for being on this show. And once again, I will update if I will be back tomorrow, and we'll see. So we can see the Mariners conclude their series with a victory going into Toronto. Once again, thank you very much. And everyone have a good night and go Mariners.
Go M's.